Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads so right for what should be a really, really, really fun show today. I am Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer, YouTube director, man who wears many hats, literally and figuratively.
You have a lot of hats.
He owns a lot of hats, but he also wears many hats at this building. We have a big announcement coming up later. How about 7 o'clock for the new announcement, Paulie? What do you
I
think
love
about that? Okay,
Let's do that.
7 o'clock, big announcement. Again, something that Paulie has been working on behind the scenes that is awesome. Just awesome. So that's at 7. Be here for that. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, here as well. And you're looking sharp in your Padres gear this morning.
Felt like opening week. Good time to pull out some Padres merchandise. I don't wear a ton, but felt a little special this week, especially why we're celebrating today.
Yeah, there's no question about it, man. We're a Padres show, I think, through and through, to our core. And man, we sure are excited about this week. I don't really want to open an anniversary type show with weather chat, but everyone's a little bit on edge, wondering how it's going to go down on Thursday. I have a feeling that they're going to play. I do also have a feeling that the game may be pushed back a little bit, which fine by me, man. Just get the thing in. Just get it in. That's what I want. Just make sure you get the game in.
If you want a full update, I had a long conversation with Angelica Campos last night about opening day and the weather in San Diego. And I'm actually kind of optimistic. She said that most of the heavier rain should be done by 11 a.m.
Okay.
They can keep the tarp on the field in the morning. You might not have batting practice outside that day, but she said after that, it's going to be fairly light. There might be a scattered shower or two, but nothing that would probably create, puddling on the field or be unplayable for the rest of the day. So based on the forecast right now, and obviously, it can change in the next 48 hours, I would think they'll be able to get the game in. Now, will it be the most pleasant opening day weather-wise in San Diego history? No, but do we really care this season?
No.
Let's get out there. We'll have a good time. Bring a windbreaker or something.
Bring your rubbers.
Bring your rubbers. Exactly.
Save that, Paul. And a slicker. You have a slicker.
I have a bright yellow slicker.
Wear that. I'm begging you. Well, it matches too. You bring the gold, right?
Yeah.
Bring the gold is the new theme for the year. So bring that. I have one slicker. It's Deftones. I thought I was buying a hoodie at the concert, and I paid, and she handed it to me, and I go, "Oh, this is made of plastic. This is like a rain slicker, and it's got Deftones across the front of it." All right, I'll wear that. So I'll probably be rocking. It's the only thing I have that's water repellent. Speaking of repellent, our friend Corey Stewart is here, has joined us this morning. Hi, Corey. Thank you for being here on this very special day. Brought us some donuts, and which is the last thing that anybody in this studio needs or wants, but we have all partaken. Well, Paul has not. I will give him the credit. He has not. He has said no. I had one. Ben had one.
You hear that, Megan? I haven't had any donuts.
Yeah, no donuts for Paulie yet. I will hold him down and shove one down his gullet at some point because I don't like
tie me to the chair.
I'm a big peer pressure guy, and if I had to do it, then you have to also do it. Strangely enough, it's also National Triglycerides Day, which we celebrate almost every day on this program as well. And American Diabetes Association Alert Day. So it really works in our favor. It's a perfect day for us to do this show. But yeah, 5 years went down yesterday. I think yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of our show based on some tweets that we found. And I was rolling last night. Paulie sent out the graphic, and he just had it up on our YouTube feed, but it's also on our Twitter. This is not a shot at Paulie because obviously we all said, yeah, looks great.
Give me a second. I'll pull it back up onto the.
You saw those.
I saw, yeah.
I tweeted last night. It looks like something you would see in the Smithsonian. I'm like, did we not have ability to put out anything that didn't look like that?
Graphics from the early 1900s when we started this show.
I'm telling you, it
just not quite the same as they are
just
today.
Weirdly in cursive and guests that I've literally never heard of. Literally, we would pack our shows with 5 guests per day. We're lucky to get 5 guests a week now on this show. So there's been a lot of evolution on this show. But we had a couple people yesterday, Benny. A guy wrote in, and I saved it he had a question. He wanted this question answered. So let me pull this up. Want to get his name and all that correct, and we can answer questions along the way. I mean, it's fun to look back and think about it. But where is this guy? Ben is his name. He said earlier today, after Woods said that he sucked the life out of Ben the last 5 years. Ben mentioned he was only supposed to do the show for about 3 or 5 days. I don't think I've heard that story before. Any chance on tomorrow's show you'll reflect and do a recap on how this whole thing came together? Yeah, absolutely. You want to start? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've told the story before, but it bears repeating that at their old station, it was the end of the year, the post-Christmas holiday week, and the regular morning host was on vacation, and they needed someone
now, who is that?
To fill in. I forget. It was some guy who was on in the mornings at that old station. So they said, hey, can you come in and fill in? I think it was 3 days. It wasn't even a full week.
He wasn't even taking the full time off.
No, it was, I mean, the first day was a holiday. So it was Tuesday to Thursday or something like that. And they said, yeah, you'll have, Paul Reindl, who I'd already known before, worked with a couple of times, will be on the board. I think I'd met him.
When did you work with Paulie before?
Paulie, when did we work together for the first time?
I don't know the official date, but I spent the first couple of years of my career at the old station kind of just like in a fill-in role.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of evening stuff, weekend stuff. If the morning producer went out of town, I'd fill in for a week. If the afternoon producer went out of town, I'd fill in there for a week.
Bullpen, first guy off the bench.
Yeah. So at some point it was probably some holiday.
And I was a bit
week.
of a bullpen, fill-in guy as well at times. So we both just had probably seen each other a few times at the radio station.
Yeah, we definitely knew each other.
Yeah.
And I was already working on the morning show for about 3 months to the end of the year. And then the holidays came around, and that's when Ben was like, yeah, I can do 3 or 4 shows for sure.
It's, it'll be a grind because I'm working television at the same time. And, it'll be a quick turnaround from the night TV program at 11:30 until the morning show at 6 a.m. when I think it started, but we can manage it for, a couple days. Not that big of a deal. So, we do the week. It went fine. It's when you're a fill-in radio host.
Was it just the two of you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just the two of us. There was no co-host or anything. And then the week ended, and I thought, okay, it's done. Call me if you ever need me again. But then that Sunday night, the following Sunday night, pretty late actually,
like New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Or whatever. It was New Year's Day, and then to the Tuesday, whatever it was. I got a call again and say, hey, we actually might need to extend you another day. Just like one more day. I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I already did.
It was kind of a grind.
That was a tough week.
The guy that had done mornings previously, his contract expired at the end of the year.
Right.
And
he didn't resign.
He did not resign. And so
I wasn't told that. I don't know if you knew it at the time, but I
knew very late.
I just assumed
I knew before you, but I actually knew very late. Didn't know what was going to happen. And so, the first business day of 2018, right? We needed something. So, hey, Ben, can you come back for a couple of days?
Yeah. At that point, it was day to day. It was like, can you come in on Tuesday?
That was the first time.
And then they call me later in the day and say, can you come back again on Wednesday?
That's unreal.
And then Thursday, and then at the end of the week, Friday, and then I think that weekend they said, can you do another week? We don't have anyone yet. We need you to continue to fill in. So
it was you, it was me, it was our boss Joe, and just like a rotating cast, like every day.
And then it's
somebody different. Yeah, like Bert Grossman, Vincey Glenn. Like we just had all these random people coming in for one day just to help get us through.
Yeah, January kind of went into February, and then they said, well, let's bring in some people for a week. And like Derek Togerson from Channel 39 came in for a week or two and was there kind of regularly. And they were still thinking, they're looking for not just at me, but other people they wanted to bring in to hire from out of town. Who knows? And this process just kept going on. And at some point I started going, oh, I mean, this has been great, but I need to move on with my life, or we need to do something. And, it looked like perhaps
if I had to guess, Derek Togerson arrived, I would say early to mid-February, and we rolled you, me, and Derek for like about a month.
Yeah, getting close to a month.
We had literally no idea. Like, how much longer are we going to do this? Just let us know if this is the show or not. Like, let's go.
I was getting the feeling like that was going to be the combination.
Yeah,
of
and
it.
so behind the scenes, that's the word I was getting too from inside the building. I had friends inside the building that were filling me in because when that job became available, I got a text that night and said, "Hey, mornings are going to be open." And I was desperately trying to get back on the air and had done some fill-in work across the street here. And they had given me a shot at doing sports radio. So I filled in at the time. My very first show I ever did is I filled in with Nick Hardwick. Then they would put me with Steve Hartman. Then I went with Rich Ornberger. Then I went with Mike Costa. They just would put me. I was a bit of their kind of bullpen guy too when guys were taking off. And I really took to it and I really enjoyed it. Now over there, they did a 3-hour show. So I found that much easier. And was like, okay, I know enough about baseball. I know enough about football. I know enough about college football to get by. But I learned, and I will always be massively thankful for getting that opportunity over there across the street. So at the time, though, when that job became available, I kind of dried up over there. They had made me a contract offer that, frankly, like I have told the story before. When I got an offer, a full-time offer from them, I say Bo had not been. No, he might have been like brand new, like days old. And my agent called me and he read me the terms and I started crying because it was horrible. I thought this was going to be the deal. I'm writing the numbers down the paper and I took the notepad and I threw it across the room in typical me fashion. My wife's just standing there going, "That bad, huh?" And I was like, "I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm not doing this. This is embarrassing. I've just busted my ass for those guys. And this is the offer I got. I had a son. We didn't have medical insurance. And I was weeping, dude. I was like, my whole career's gone. And I was a wreck. And my wife, to her credit, goes, "You're not quitting. You're not quitting. You're not quitting. You're not quitting. You're not quitting. You love this more than anything. Keep keeping on."
I've never asked this question before, but I know how this business works. So I have to assume that while I'm filling in the first couple of months of 2018 with Paulie,
yeah,
you are probably on the sidelines cheering for my demise. You're hoping that the
much.
Ben Higgins show doesn't work out because you would love that opportunity to get to host on this radio station. And you don't get it if that chair is not open. So you're actively rooting against me.
I was hoping you got hit by an SUV, if I'm being honest with you. That they took you out and you broke your leg and you couldn't do it.
I knew it.
No, it's true. It's true. I was a wreck, man. I really wanted to do this. And it's so strange because behind the scenes, I'm meeting with your bosses over there at 1090. I'm meeting with them at Chili's and having lunch. And he told me,
I don't see it,
right,
to get me all spun out about the people they're bringing in to replace me.
So my guy, Mike Lickenhouse, man, he sits me down. And he goes, "Look, I love you. I'd hire you today. I just don't have a spot for you." He goes, "Our midday guy's doing great. They're not going to add anybody. The morning show's, it's fine right now, but," he goes, "I want to hire you. I just don't have anything for you." And I just was like, "All right, man. Well, I was like in that give up mode. And I'll never forget. I'm home and I'm rocking Bo to sleep. And I'm holding him and I'm just sitting there going, something's got to pop. Like something has to happen. Very next day, same guy, Mike, calls me and he goes, you know Ben Higgins?" And I go, I don't know him personally. And we follow each other on social media. He goes, "Well,
he's that guy that ran for mayor, right?"
Yeah. No, that's Carl DeMaio. They do look very similar. And he says to me, he goes, "Great." He's on speakerphone here. Ben's like, "Hi, Woods." I'm like, "Hi, Ben." He goes, "No BS. This is like 10 in the morning." He goes,
right after the show.
He goes, "I need you guys to meet for a beer. And then call me later and let me know if you guys want to do a morning show together. You got till 5:00. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Now we go to meet. This is my favorite part of the story. We're running a little late. It's fine. I don't care. We sit down at Regal Siegel. I still remember the booth we were sitting in. And I get a beer. He gets a beer. And Ben's like, "So give me your philosophy on sports radio." I'm like, "I hate interviews. I think they're a giant waste of time. I want to have some fun. I want to bring some music in. I want to bring some pop culture in. I want to bring movies, life, relationships, kids, the whole thing. Just a big, let's just go in and be ourselves and be authentic and do things a little differently." And Ben's like, "I love interviews. I don't like music. I don't really watch movies. I don't like documentary." I mean, I'm sitting there going, so we looked at each other. I go, "You know what? I think this will work." Now, to be fair, I would have worked with the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez at that point to get a job. I would have worked with almost anyone.
Yeah.
I would have taken any gig.
You could have gotten first billing. Woods and the Night Stalker.
Woods and the Night
Mornings.
Stalker. So we call Glick and we go, yeah, let's do it. And that had to have been, I think we started 2 days later.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, within the next couple of days, we were on the air.
We were on the air, and
5 years ago, we think yesterday.
Yeah, and like right around now, and man, what a ride it has been.
It was 5 years ago yesterday. We did a show with no guests. We did 4 hours, just feeling each other out, taking calls. Yep, and then
we did a wood show, and then we did my show.
And then I think
17 guests.
The next day, we had like two of the greatest guests you could have had. We had like Steve Fisher and Ron Fowler. And then on like day 3, we had Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball.
We've never talked to him since, by the way. I was like, this job's great. Look at us. We're talking to the commissioner of baseball. Man, this is some high level S going on here.
My favorite was I actually went back. I sent it to you the other day. I went back through our DMs and I found March 23rd. Was that the date? 2018. Woods, who we'd followed each other for a little while before this was even a possibility. I just knew him as the guy that kept retweeting Yankees crap into my timeline. and he DMs me and he goes, we should chat soon. I go, what could this be about? And dude, the rest is history. I remember I got in the car after a show, called you, drove home, and we're talking, and you're like, here's my idea for a show. Like, I hate interviews. I don't want to do any interviews. I'm like, all right, man.
You're
like,
gonna change your tune, bro.
4 hours is a long time, but yeah, we don't have to have 5 football interviews like we've been doing currently, but 1 or 2 probably wasn't gonna hurt you, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
It was I just remember like I got my offer and I signed it and I was just so happy to get insurance for my kid. I mean, that's there was a bit of obviously nerves, and we can talk more about it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, talk a little bit more about that. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat on YouTube. You can tweet us, whatever. We'll answer anything you want to hear. And listen, one of the best stories is like the day we started, we got attacked mercilessly by people sitting in this very studio right here. And I was going back through those tweets last night going, oh my God, how did we get through that? And where everybody is now is a pretty crazy story.
Ben and Woods will share those memories of the last 5 years, and we will have a couple of guests. We found the right kind of balance, including Jesse Agler. Tuesdays with Jesse are back.
Yes.
No incorporator for today. That'll
That's how
start
you know
next
it's baseball
week.
season.
But we know it's baseball season because Jesse will join us at 8:35. And former Aztec Tim Shelton, one of the legends who helped get this whole thing started, now in the Final Four. He's an assistant coach now up at Oregon State, but still a proud Aztec, going to be with us at 9:35 this morning.
He was elated when I texted him yesterday. He's like, done. You tell me what time.
Can't wait to catch up with him. And then we're just going to have a fun show today. Ben and Woods, just here for the insurance on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Is this really your this is kind of your mantra? All you want to do also is have some fun.
I do like to have a lot of fun. That's me in a nutshell.
It's in a nutshell. All I want to do is have some fun.
That's what you wanted to do on this show.
I did.
All you wanted to do was have some fun. I would go, no. That's
We can't
not how
do
it
fun.
works.
We must do hard-hitting sports.
That's not how it works.
Sheryl Crow.
Yeah, I
Women
didn't.
Who Rock.
I always misheard the
Big
lyrics on this song.
Yeah, huge.
And I don't
Big
know why
fan.
I thought she was talking about buckets of blood instead of Santa Monica Boulevard, but it's weird.
You on mushrooms?
Yeah, I know. I had trouble understanding what she was saying.
Buckets of blood.
Yeah.
I told you guys he's Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Penny Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Oh,
Women in
my
Rock
God.
and Roll is the theme this month, and that is Sheryl Crow. What's that song called? All I Want to Do.
All I want to do.
All I want to do is see Ben and Woods on YouTube and comment. You guys are firing some questions in here we can get to. Joe
Here,
asked.
do you want to?
Go ahead.
I'm going to show you guys that original rundown.
Yeah,
Not the one that we posted yesterday promoting today's show.
right. The original.
But like I was going through our archives and I was able to find. I mean, when I tell you the chills the dork chills that I got, I'm like, how did we allow this to ever go out on our social media? Yeah, there it is.
Look at that thing.
5 guests, first of all.
All right.
I mean, there's so much that stands out. I mean, by far the design is terrible.
That's a Paul Reindl original.
I made that.
It's the weirdest ampersand I've ever seen between the Ben and the Woods.
That was like,
That is so bad.
look how innovative we are. And then 5 guests.
5 guests in a 4-hour show.
Dennis Paulson. We still
Love
stay in
DP,
touch
yeah.
with DP.
Early
He
Masters preview,
talks
possibly.
golf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe Masters. 1, 2, 3, at least 3 football interviews.
At least 3.
Yeah,
because I don't know who Matt Bowen is.
I don't either. Does anyone know who Matt Bowen is?
I don't know. Wasn't there a former Padre named Matt Bowen?
I
Bowen.
think he worked for ESPN.
Hang on.
Yeah, okay.
Matt.
He was an NFL player. So I
No.
believe he worked for ESPN.
Yeah.
So we had 4.
I'm thinking of Rob Bowen. I
We
think.
don't even have a football team here.
4
And we didn't.
football interviews.
4.
And look, on any given day, one of those guests would be fine.
Bro, I would
Peter
have
King
Peter
is
King on
great.
today.
Joe Theismann is great.
100%.
I don't remember Matt Bowen. I don't know who he is, but I'm sure he was great. Maurice Jones-Drew, we were the Rams station in San Diego. He was
weren't
great.
yet, though. I
Yeah,
don't
we were.
think. Were
I
we?
think that was their first year as the Ram
Okay.
station. Yeah. How did we come up with enough questions to fill all the time, though, with all those interviews?
The whole thing gives me anxiety. Like I need a paper bag to breathe in because if I saw that rundown today, if Paulie sent it out, I'd be livid. I would be livid. I'd be like, are you guys planning this show behind my back? Why are we talking? Why are we doing
5 years
football
later,
guys?
there's still a part of Ben that's like,
Oh, yeah.
that doesn't sound that bad.
Ben's looking at that going, actually.
So what are we doing tomorrow?
That tickles my fancy a little bit. I kind of like that one.
Oh my God.
Bro, that graphic, the interviews, it's amazing. I would kill to go back and hear how terrible I was interviewing Maurice Jones-Drew of all people. So, football, cool. I mean, we didn't have a team. The team had gone, and they were so insistent on jamming football down everybody's throats. And I will never understand it. And I understand that the NFL is king. It's so funny, too, because I had come from music radio where they did the same type stuff, where they would say, well, this song is really good in New York. And this song is really good in Chicago. This song is really good in Boston. And even I, who had not been here that long, would say, guys, San Diego's different. It's different. It's not a cookie cutter place. This isn't New York. This isn't Boston. What plays there is not going to play here. Play this. This is what it seems like people want to hear here because they're calling me, asking me, but we're playing what's testing well in other markets. And that's the thing is San Diego, honestly, man, it just stands alone and you have to know your market. And so few do.
I was very skeptical that we were suddenly going to pivot to become a Rams town now that
man.
the Chargers were gone. I just didn't see how that made a lot of sense. But given we had to talk football, what was the team that we were going to talk about?
The
Because I
Rams.
wasn't going to sit there and talk about the Chargers.
No.
That had just left us, within the last year or
And
so.
when you say we had to talk football, we
Oh, yeah.
had
We had to.
talk football.
They forced us to do it. And hey, listen, I know I give Adam Klug a lot of garbage. That man literally has made our careers because he gives us a blank slate every day and says, you guys can do what you want with it. And we do. We try as hard as we can to do
coming up
do it
on
different.
4 years officially here at the Fan. And
Yeah.
not one time, not once has he said, hey, enough with
this
Bo's Little League,
Right.
enough with, you know, your personal crap. Get back to sports. I don't care if it's Padres, AFC, NFC, whatever. Like, not once
Not
has he
one
told
time.
us what we can or cannot
Nope.
talk about.
And that
goes
me,
a long way, man.
That's worth its weight.
But
in
at the
gold.
same time, we weren't ready yet as San Diegans to talk a ton of Padres. They just signed Eric Hosmer.
Yep.
But the rest of the 2018 opening day starting lineup 5 years ago yesterday, Austin Hedges behind the plate, Carlos Asuaje at second base, Chase Headley, not the good Chase Headley anymore, at third base, Freddie Galvis at shortstop, Jose Perella in left field, Manny Margot in center, Will Myers, and then Clayton Richard on the mound was the opening day.
You know,
we thought, Hosmer might be the guy that pushes that lineup over the top to become a World Series contender, maybe.
We were all in there excited about Austin Hedges and what he could do. We were all excited about what Manny Margot could do. I always liked Freddie Galvis. I always thought he was a hell of a glove. There were guys that we were really, really excited about still. But, man, when we would talk Padres, our executive producer, his eyes would just glaze over, and he would give us the wrap it up, get back to football. And man, it was those days,
especially if we
tough.
talked minor league Padres.
Oh, it drove him crazy.
Just couldn't stand talking the prospects.
Drove him crazy. We'd have our buddies from Mad Friars on, and they would just lose his mind.
He called every single prospect.
That was all we had to look forward to.
Joey Schmidlap. Why are we talking about Joey Schmidlap?
I'm like, yeah, well, Joey Schmidlap could turn out to be the next. Who knows now. He was kind of right because none of those guys actually ever panned out. But we did trade a lot of those guys.
Tatis was a Joey Schmidlap
guy
was in too. So
that was pretty good. You're right. You're right about that. Let's take a quick break. We will come right back. If you guys have any questions, you can fire away. Jesse Agler coming up at 8:35. Benjamin, very, very excited to talk to our pal Jesse, who landed safely. Everyone's back from Arizona. It's time, man. I can feel it bubbling in my guts, man. I'm so excited about the season starting on Thursday.
Spring training is over. Ben and Woods just heating up here in 2023 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
What up, guys? Matt Strom here. Just want to congratulate you guys on your 5-year anniversary show. It's always a blast being on with you guys and just talking ball or just talking life. But just wanted to take a quick second and say congrats. Can't wait to see you guys out in Arizona again next February and get my redemption on the golf course. But again, congrats, guys.
Matty Strom, love that man. Love him, pulling for him, unless it's against us. He's such a good dude, such a good guy, and was always great to our show. One of my favorite memories, honest to God, that since we've been doing this, was when the pandemic not ended, but when the pandemic slowed down a little bit and we were allowed to go back to Petco Park for the first time, really to go back down onto the field to see the
They started the
players.
season with very limited media access.
Yeah, you could sit in the box and stuff and watch, but man,
there was a day, I think it was like May or June, where they're like, all right, you have to be masked up. You can at least come onto the field now.
Yeah, you
and
can come say hello,
see
and
people from a distance.
did an interview, and we were walking down the stairs, and Strom was throwing, and he turned around and he goes, "What's it?" And I felt like a king. And it was funny because they were happy to see us. Like, we were really happy to see them, but they were also like, okay, this feels normal. The media hacks are back here with their notepads and their phones and their crappy setups, and they want to talk to us again. And it was they were still making money while they were playing, and they were still playing baseball. But man, talk about a different world altogether for those guys. No media people. I'm sure there's some of them are like, thank God, man, this is great. Don't have people standing at my locker and stuff. But Matty was always so cool to us, and he's just one of those guys. That's who we gravitate to. The guys that really they get it. They get it. Like, they get that, hey, man, we're just human beings trying to do a job too. And we really appreciate and admire what you guys do. That's the thing too about this show that I love, is that we're all fans, man. We are all huge fans. As much as Ben wants to be a journalist, he's still a massive fan.
I am, but I do appreciate you have an easier rapport with players. And I don't know, just maybe it's your personality, but when you go down there, you make more of a connection. I
kiss their ass.
I have
so
a professional,
much easier.
I have a professional relationship with players. You make it a little more personal, but I love that. I mean, that is gold for our show, especially when a guy like Matt Strom comes on and they're willing to share a little bit more, have a little bit more fun, let down their guard. Honestly,
well, in his case, let his hair down.
Yeah,
yes,
a lot of hair to let down.
Let your hair down.
But honestly, that's a huge part and one of the most difficult parts of this job, and why you don't like a ton of the interviews is so many of the people you talk to are so guarded when they're doing an interview. As you'd expect. I mean, in this day and age, you say the wrong thing on social media, you say the wrong thing on TV or radio, it gets blown up. All of a sudden, you're in trouble. You're answering more questions. You got maybe your manager, your GM's unhappy with you. So you just end up saying nothing, and you just be really, really careful, really, really dull. And it's not that entertaining, but you have a way of getting guys to open up a little bit more and feel a little bit more comfortable. And I'd like to feel, for the most part, it's never burned anybody, that, they can come on with us, be themselves, and not fear a giant backlash of something that went wrong on the Ben and Wood show.
I mean, yeah, I'm 47 years old, and when Manny Machado walks by, I'm still like a little kid, and I'll never lose that. If that goes away, that means I'm probably should be doing something else. That means that it's become old hat to me. And still, when we were at spring training this year and getting to meet Xander Bogaerts for the first time, I was like, oh, God bless. I've watched this guy play forever. And then, sitting down with Juan Soto and stuff, it's nuts. It's still like, it's the pinch yourself moment. And that's, I will always be a fan first. Always. And, some people like it, some people don't. That's just who I am. I can't turn it off. It's hard for me to just be a casual journalist trying to get the hard-hitting news. I love what these guys do. It's something I always wanted to do and could never, ever scratch even to get close to what they do. So no, man, Matt, I appreciate that. Matt doing that. He's a great guy. And yeah, I look forward to seeing him again, and don't light us up too well or too much when we play the Phillies.
All of our guests appear on the
first of several.
Oh,
get
some more
voicemail,
that's great. Thanks,
cameos today.
All of our guests appearing on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today. Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Tell you when you can win some Padres opening day tickets like actual tickets to opening day on Thursday, right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Definitely starting to heat up on the roads. We still have emergency crews on scene of a vehicle over the side, southbound 15, right at the southbound 805. That is over the right shoulder, and not far from that on the northbound side, the 805 right before the 15, stalled car in the center divide. Eastbound King Freeway right at the northbound 15 connector. We have reports of what looks like a refrigerator over to the left shoulder, partially in lanes. Northbound side of the 67 just before Mapleview. Reports of a collision. Not showing up, lanes are blocked. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, be listening at just before 8:30 this morning, right before Jesse comes on at 8:35, because we will be giving away, and these are very hard to come by, Tuesday opening day tickets.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Today is Tuesday. Opening day tickets for Thursday.
Here in Dallas.
Yeah, it just says right. Tuesday giveaway. No, it's for opening day on Thursday.
We can give you
Padres
tickets
tickets.
to today's game.
It's not going to be much happening.
There's not much happening, but you'll also be by yourself. So that's a good thing. You show up to
a lot of space
Petco.
in the concourse.
Yes. Concessions are closed, but you will have a decent time hanging out at Petco by yourself.
So that's coming up at like 8:29, right before the bottom of the hour. A little less than 2 hours from now, a chance to win opening day Padres tickets
Wow.
here on the Ben and Woods program.
I mean, that's about the best prize you can give away in this city right now. It's right
And
there.
Who are you going to see out there on the field on opening day? No official announcements by the Padres, but they've made enough moves, optioning players down and whittling down their 40-man roster, that we can kind of make a pretty good guesstimate as to what the 26-man opening day roster is going to look like here, Woods.
Yeah, there was one I think that surprised me and probably surprised everyone else out there yesterday. The Padres optioned Jay Groom to AAA El Paso. I absolutely thought he was going to be a part of the opening day roster, whether it was a long man in the bullpen, whether he got a start.
He's had a great spring.
Phenomenal spring. So, I mean, he had a 1.29 ERA. Now, again, he had a lot of walks. I think that's probably something they want to try to curtail down in the minors. But man, I like his stuff. I like mostly his command. That's what he's going to work on down in the minors. And I honestly, it goes to show you, you can think you know what the team's going to do, especially this team. I feel like you know what they're going to do, and then they surprise you a little bit, which means I think, Ben, Ryan Weathers is going to get a start here in the first week of the season. So I want to feel positive about it, because at the end of the day, he wears the uniform. We're going for a championship. We're going to need all hands on deck. It's kind of that time for Ryan Weathers. I think this is if you're him, I try to put myself in his shoes. I mean, I got to imagine this is pretty big, right? And all right, bud, you're on the opening day roster and you're going to get a start game 4 or whatever. Go out and show us what you can do. Go out and show us why we drafted you so high. And congratulations to him. If you're going to base it off of spring numbers, I mean, he had a couple of good outings and some not so good outings, and that seems to happen even to the best of them. So I'm rooting hard for the kid. I am. We need him. We need everybody that's on this roster. We need every single one of them. I don't dislike anybody personally. There's a couple of guys I'd like to see some growth from, and he's one of them.
One difference between Ryan Weathers and Jay Groom: Ryan Weathers has some experience on the big league level, even in the postseason when he came up and pitched for the Padres. Now, yes, he struggled last year, but he put in a lot of work, refining his windup, his mechanics. And I think this opportunity, I'm actually excited about Ryan Weathers getting this opportunity. Now, do I expect him to make 32 starts for the Padres this year? No, he's probably going to go down. Do I expect Jay Groom to come up and make a few starts for the Padres? Yes, absolutely. I don't think this is a demotion that means he's not in the plans for the Padres this year. Simply, you just have to make a couple of decisions. He's got some options. They can bring him back when they need him. It also has a trickle-down effect to the bullpen. It looks as though Brent Honeywell has earned a spot as the long man in the bullpen. And the real surprise here, and everyone is saying that it looks like he's going to be on the roster, Domingo Tapia, who's been just electric with his stuff at spring training. Not a name really any of us were talking about going into spring training. May have stolen that final, short relief spot in the Padres bullpen. Could be temporary until Robert Suarez gets off the injured list. Obviously, Ryan Weathers, temporary until Joe Musgrove comes back off the injured list. Adrian Morejon, maybe giving that Brent Honeywell spot because of his injury. But for now, these guys look like they'll be Padres on Thursday when the season opens.
Well, and obviously the dream for Padres fans is, and for those guys that you mentioned in particular, is make it hard. Make it hard for them to send you down. Brent Honeywell, go in and take your role and execute it to perfection. And Ryan Weathers, go out there and grit your way through 5 innings so that they can't send you down. I mean, that's it. I got to imagine, man, once you get to the big leagues and you don't want to be shuttled back and forth. Now, some guys, it's a matter of circumstance. Ryan Weathers could go out and throw 7 innings of 1-hit ball and still get sent down because he's got options. That's the tough part about being in that area of your career. I mean, you're like, hey, bro, you did well, but Joe's coming back, so we're going to need you to get on the bus again, and that's tough. But the way they handled it so far is good. I'm, like I said, I'm rooting for these guys. I want every dub we can get. I want every single one we can get.
Speaking of Joe Musgrove, he pitched in the B game yesterday on the backfields in Peoria, and it seemed to go pretty well. Got through, I think, 15 outs. 6 of them came in 1 inning. They were so efficient, they wanted to keep him out there. He is not going to open with the Padres, though. He's going to start and throw another, session on Saturday. He'll be at opening day. They'll introduce him, I'm sure, and he'll get his cheers. But then he'll go back and throw on Saturday, probably at least once, they say, for the El Paso Chihuahuas, and targeting maybe an April 11th debut. I know he was pushing for the 6th, and that always seemed like Bob Melvin was like, oh, yeah, that's great, and was shaking his head no the entire time that he said, yeah, I don't want to discourage him. The April 6th date that he wants to pitch is not going to happen for Joe Musgrove, but hopefully if those next 2 throwing sessions go well, we will see him on that first road trip, possibly against the New York Mets when they go on to town.
That would be very, very fun.
Yeah, last time he was at Citi Field, I feel like it was not a bad day for him.
Brian Kenny just is in shambles already with his telescope and magnifying glass. Going to be watching Joe very intently as he returns to Citi Field potentially. Josh Hader looked good. He seems to be ready to go. Seth Lugo has been really impressive. Really, really impressive. Went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk.
So he's going to probably be the 4th starter, I hear, the Sunday starter for this first series.
They'll go Snell, Martinez, Waka,
Lugo.
Yeah.
And then Darvish, then Weathers, probably.
Yep.
And then we'll see what happens on the second time through the rotation.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. But yeah, I'm obviously really, really thrilled to get this thing underway. And I trust Bob to make the right decisions. I trust Bob to put these guys in the best position to win. Yeah, but I am worried. Here we are a couple days away from the season, and I'm a little bit worried about the starting pitching.
I'm glad you brought up Seth Lugo, though, because I feel like he hasn't been talked about a ton. There were questions like, can he stretch out? Can he perform as a starter? And while spring training doesn't answer every single question, he certainly has, I think, lessened a lot of the worries about whether he's going to be able to do that with what he did in Peoria and in Arizona. And I think Nick Martinez is, obviously he looks great, like a competitor from the World Baseball Classic to what he's done in Arizona. This Padres rotation feels deeper than it did 2 months ago. We weren't sure what was going to be the 4th, the 5th guys.
And that's even with a couple of guys banged up.
Yeah.
You're still feeling pretty good. When you can go to a former Cy Young winner as your 3rd starter on opening day, we'll see what we get from Blake. I'm really pulling for him hard this year. But I don't think, no offense to our El Paso tier 1s, but I don't think anyone has ever said what a good time to be in El Paso, because now you'll be able to watch Fernando Tatis Jr. and potentially, as you mentioned, a Joe Musgrove start down in El Paso. That's pretty cool for them.
So we may have an idea of who's going to be the starting right fielder for the Padres on opening day with Fernando Tatis Jr. still on suspension. And it's not anyone we had pictured when spring training started. In fact, it's not someone who was even on the Padres when spring training started. Big surprise. We'll talk about that coming up.
They're really going to put him in right?
That's what it sounds like. At least for the opening day against a righty and another left-handed bat in the lineup. And if you're thinking You're thinking David Dahl. That's not what we're hearing
Huh.
from Arizona right now. So we'll talk about that.
All right.
Big announcement for the Ben and Wood show. Something exciting, a little behind the scenes thing that Paulie's been working on that I think
Enjoying
most
the
people are
ride.
going to enjoy.
I'm already enjoying the ride.
And
We
some
haven't
Take
even
on
started.
Woods coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, Iggy, Woodsy. Hey, it's Mud. Mark Grant here. Hey, Paulie just texted me like 5:30 in the morning. Said that he wanted me to
Why?
leave this like congratulatory message for you guys. I guess it's like your 5-year anniversary of your show. Woohoo! That's awesome. You guys are great. Yeah, nice going. Whatever. Maybe you'll get 6. Who knows? San Diego Icons, I guess. Hudson and Bauer, Jeff and Jared, they got nothing on you clowns. But anyway, no, congratulations, 5 years. It's quite an accomplishment. listening to one of your shows for like 5 years. Oh yeah. Hey, one more thing. Can you text me that number for the erectile dysfunction information?
I got you, bud.
I'm always driving my car and can't write down the number, so text me that number when you get a chance.
Yeah, we'll do it right now.
All right. Well, I'm going back to bed. So that's it. Congratulations, 5 years. See you guys down the road. All right. All the best. Keep in touch with yourself. See ya.
Unbelievable.
Keep in touch with yourself.
Says the
Keep in
man
touch with yourself.
who's been doing Padres television, I believe now for a quarter of a century.
He's like, you're really celebrating 5 years. I've been doing this for 2 decades.
Tell me when you go
plus.
5 times 5 years, and we'll talk a little bit.
Love that.
I like
man.
how he specified Mud, Mark Grant, as opposed to all the other
muds
that we know in our life
Well,
here.
when he started talking, I'm like, who the hell is this? Did he just roll out of bed? Because he said, hello, it's me, Mud Grant.
It's a good reminder that the most energetic person still gets tired at some point.
It's very true.
Or maybe he was just putting on an entire act of tiredness. Because Paulie made him record something at 5:30 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Like he's going to do that. Like Mud's going to do anything he doesn't want to do. We know that. You guys think I'm a diva. Come on. Don't look at me.
All right, so what's the big announcement here for everybody? It's 7:00. We teased it. Let's pay off the announcement.
The big announcement is we new era, right? 5 years. Let's work on the next 5.
Yep.
New season. We've got a new merch store and some new merch.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So
We've been working
good.
on this for a little while. The old store.
Was
So
fine.
we're tweeting out the link right now. You can go to our link tree. It's the link in our bio and all our social media. That'll take you to the merch store now. This new store, we have a lot more products to choose from.
So many more.
Different styles. We didn't have polos. We didn't have a lot of different hats. We didn't have
Stickers.
Stickers.
Yeah, you can
we
get
went and
stickers
paid
now.
for our own stickers to just hand out. You want a sticker? It's like $3. You can get one now. So we're very excited about that. I'm pulling it up here on
You got new
YouTube
colors
stream.
in there.
Yeah,
They
new colors.
might resemble your favorite team's City Connect jerseys.
Yeah.
So now you could get Ben and Woods in the City Connect colors. And we're working on some new designs as well. And very, very excited about we got the new YouTube and we've got the new merch store. And it's really good. Really
Yeah.
great.
If you're
Thank you,
let's see
Paulie,
here.
for getting that all together.
I'm gonna share this.
Go spend
onto
some
the-
money.
It's always an incredible thrill to
It
see
is
Ben and
wild.
Woods merch in
Yeah,
the wild.
It's so cool.
Like out and about, whether it's a sticker or someone in a shirt, or at the Padres game when people are wearing a hat. It blows my mind every time I see it.
Yeah,
And
it's
thanks
awesome.
to the tier ones who have supported us. You can check out our new merch store in our link in our bio on our Twitter page at Ben and Woods.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
watching on YouTube now, basically you can scroll around and it goes by design. So we took a lot of the same designs that
Yeah.
we've been using that people have liked, and then this is our Ben and Woods. We call it our Ben and Woods skate design. So you can click on it, and then it shows you all the products that are available for said design. You can choose your colors and all of that. The exciting one, yeah, we did add the City Collection, calling it.
Yeah, the City Collection.
But
we couldn't.
We've got
do-
hats, we've got
City
mugs,
Connect.
tote bags. I don't think we had tote bags.
So we did the City
Collection.
Drawstring backpacks. Got dog bandanas, bunch of different
Oh.
mugs. We've got polos. We have joggers available.
Yeah, joggers.
Stickers, bucket hats, fanny packs.
Dog bandanas.
Yeah, how about that? So
Then-
that is up.
Oh, look at the joggers with the logo right by your wiener.
There it is.
What's that thing on the right?
It's a thong.
Oh,
Ben and
really?
Woods thong. No, it's a fanny pack, but
Okay.
it did look like a thong a little bit. That's next.
So
Look at those things. Those are dope.
yeah, these are all the designs we have. We left Bo's
Keep us-
tier 1 shirt.
You can keep us right
I
there
love this
next
one.
to your dong.
This is one of my favorites, the tier 1 Army. So it's got your basic logo on the
Oh,
front,
Look at that Junior GM
but then
shirt.
boom, right there. You guys are watching on the delay.
The people on the radio are dying right now
Yeah,
because
they
can't
hate
see
us.
what we're doing. But,
But yeah, I
just
like
trust
the,
us. It's really good.
tier 1.
City Collection is my favorite bit of all time.
Yeah, there's your junior GM shirt. And
No, this picture isn't of Manny Machado. It's of Manny Machado. But it's a SH.
Machado.
It's different. It's way different. Fernando Tatis. It's not the same. It's different. Oh, I love the junior GM. Those need to be, you guys need to buy more of those with all of your trade proposals.
Those might be my favorite. I love when you're wearing yours.
My junior GM.
Yeah,
it's
that's always
such
a good one.
show. It's the best part about being a baseball fan. You get to be junior GM. We were talking about this the other day. So I told Ben, I go, one thing about me, and look, sometimes comments will get to me, and I'm human, and it will spin me out for the whole day. And I said, man, and next to the junior GM shirt, we should get Ben and Woods junior PD program director shirts, because everyone thinks that they know how to put together, hey, you guys aren't talking enough this, you need to be doing this, I can't believe you haven't mentioned this yet. It annoys me. I'm sorry, I'm human. It's like if you go see the Stones and they're up there playing their set and you're in the front row and you're going, play Satisfaction, and they're like, oh my God, we're gonna do it, like I'll get it, but it's later in the set. We still got it. We're planning on doing it. The junior PDs make me insane. They make me insane. And I told Benny, I go, can you imagine what AJ Preller goes through? Like, there's no wonder he doesn't have his own. I mean, he does have, we know for a fact he has a burner. But it would have to make him insane. To all the people out there like Corey Stewart that think they could run the team better, all the people out there that think, they know that this guy's not ready or this guy's ready. Wouldn't that make you nuts as a real GM of a baseball team?
I think as long as your team is doing well, you can ignore the noise. Like, hey,
correct. But our team's doing well, and I don't ignore the noise.
I think I could, and it doesn't. You've always got the results to point to. You may not agree with my moves, but they're working out. If you're struggling though, and everyone's got an idea of how to fix it, now that might be the hard part.
It's really tough. So junior PDs, junior GMs. Yeah, go get your shirts.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods, 833-288-0973. We may need a shirt that says I took on Woods and won, or I took on Woods and lost, for all of our contestants. But if you want to try to qualify for our grand prize to Vegas, call now, 833-288-0973. While we do that and wait.
It'd be fun to have my wife wear a I took on Woods shirt.
and lost. I think we've got someone who wants to record his congratulatory voicemail live right now, though. Let's see. Can you record a 5-year congratulatory voicemail out there?
I can if I can.
Hi, Pops.
Hey, first of all, sincere apologies to Mr. and Mrs. Higgins and Mrs. Reindl. I feel like you guys are my boys, and so very, very proud of all your success.
Thank you, fake dad.
5 more years.
I mean, Gary, you might as well be my dad. So.
Oh my God. God dang it.
No,
you talk to my dad more than you talk to your real dad.
It's true.
It's so funny.
Paul doesn't have a dad.
Paul doesn't have a dad.
So dark.
You guys are too much.
It's so dark. It's so dark.
You have to laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah, of course. You want a donut yet?
No.
Thank you, Pops.
Thanks, Dad.
No, congrats, guys. 5 times 5 more years.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll catch up with Mud, assuming he doesn't make it after this year.
I'll tell you right now, we're never going to do 25 years. That's not in the cards. It's just not happening. I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I'm out of stories.
I don't know if I've got 20 more years of Take on Woods or not, but let's play one right now. Yesterday's game was kind of a mess, so let's bring on Guy. I know he's a good contestant. Hopefully, I'll have some good questions for you, Guy. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, any of those hats come in wood size, extra fat heads like some of us?
Really big-headed hats? Yeah, I think with the new merch store,
snapbacks, so you should be
you
okay.
can adjust for sure. All right, Guy, you know yeah, you know how the game works. 5 questions, 60 seconds, musical trivia. Beat or tie Woods, you will qualify for our grand prize getaway to Las Vegas, 2 nights at the Westgate, and tickets to see 38th Special on April 28th at the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. You get to pick our category here. Your choices: Angels Among Us, the word angel in all of our answers, From Your Lips, the word lips in all the answers, or Spelling Bee, which are 5 songs that are famous for spelling out a keyword in their lyrics or titles. So, Guy, would you like to play Angels Among Us From Your Lips or Spelling Bee?
Let's try the spelling bee.
All right, the new category today. This is a fun one. Today on Take on Woods, we're looking for 5 songs that are famous for spelling out a key word in the lyrics or title. You'll get your 60 seconds. We'll start with the 2-second song. You have to give me the title and the artist to score that point, and we'll go on from there. Guy, are you ready to play?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. The category is Spelling Bee. Good luck, Guy. Let's take on Woods.
Respect Aretha Franklin.
Correct. Which 1982 song became the biggest hit for the Canadian band Men Without Hats?
Safety Dance.
Correct. Written by Ray Davies, which gender-bending song became a hit for the Kinks in 1970?
Lola.
Correct. Which 1985 John Mellencamp hit is subtitled A Salute to...
R-O-C-K in the USA.
Correct. The Bay City Rollers were all about the weekend, in which 1973 hit?
Saturday Night.
Oh, wow, Guy.
That's too
that
easy.
was so easy. He just
That-
rolled
Some
through
of the
that
fastest
category.
a contestant has ever won.
Get him his non-existent I Took on Woods and Won t-shirt. Well, we don't know if he's going to win. He's certainly going to qualify for Vegas. The question is, can Woods match the 5 for 5 by Guy in the same category, which he doesn't get? We'll see if Woods can handle this one. Tried to do a better job today of the questions. Yesterday it didn't go so well. It was tough. All right, 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Guy.
That's Respect by Aretha Franklin.
Correct. Which 1982 song became the biggest hit for the Canadian band Men Without Hats?
The Safety Dance?
Correct. Written by Ray Davies, which gender-bending song became a hit for the Kinks in 1970?
Lola.
Correct. Which 1985 John Mellencamp hit is subtitled A Salute to 60s Rock?
R-O-C-K in the USA.
Correct. The Bay City Rollers were all about the weekend, in which 1973 hit?
Saturday Night.
Very good. A 5-5
Well done.
tie. You needed every single one of them. Yeah. Guy got it about as fast as anyone has ever gotten 5 in a row in this game. Maybe
He crushed
challenging
it.
your best times.
Did
The
he
category was...
Hack your email.
What was the category?
No idea.
Spelling Bee.
Spelling
All
bee.
those songs are famous for spelling out words. R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
S-A-T-U-R.
L-O-L-A, Lola,
Yep,
R-O-C-K
okay.
in the USA, and
Ooh,
S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y,
that's a good one,
Saturday night. But
Really good one.
not challenging enough for either Guy or Woods. But Guy, congratulations. Hang on the line. Paulie will get your information. We'll put you into the drawing for the getaway to Las Vegas. Feel good about that, though. A nice 5-5. Everyone gets it all right on our anniversary show. 5 years, 5 questions, 5 correct answers from everybody.
That's how it should be, right
It
there.
is.
That's a battle right
It
there.
wouldn't
Well done.
be Ben and Woods without our longest running segment. The first ever
It's our first
benchmark that we put into the show that still exists today. Don't Do This is coming up next. And we already have the Ump Show underway in 2023. And spring training isn't even officially over yet. Get to that coming up after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't forget, you can listen to 97.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Legoland. Every hour you listen now through April 16th equals 1 entry in the contest. Awesome awaits at Legoland California Resort. Check out their newest edition, Miniland San Diego, featuring a replica of Petco Park. Tickets at legoland.com/California. 5 years almost of Don't Do This. I think we started,
Pretty soon.
2 or 3 weeks into
Yeah.
our show with Don't Do This, and then it has remained a staple
Inspiration
on the Ben and Woods. Yeah.
from my missus.
Yep, still part of the Open after all these years. And I will start out with, I assume you saw the video yesterday of Phillies catcher JT Realmuto in a spring training game in Dunedin, Florida against the Toronto Blue Jays. Craig Kimbrell was out on the mound, and he got called for a pitch clock violation. It was a 1-2 count, 4th inning, made it 2-2. It was very close. The clock hit 0, and split second later, he lifted his knee. But, the umpires have been told, hey, let's enforce this to the letter of the law.
Right.
So he got called for a ball. So then Kimbrell was a little frustrated. The umpire behind the home plate, Randy Rosenberg, threw him out a new ball. Kimbrell didn't like it, tossed it away. JT Realmuto put his catcher's mitt kind of behind his head, like, okay, he doesn't like that ball. Give me another one. I'll throw it to him. But then it looked as though that the umpire was just going to throw it directly out to Craig Kimbrell again. But when so JT Realmuto lowered his mitt at the last second. That's when Randy Rosenberg tried to drop it into his mid, ended up just dropping to the ground. It looked like a silly moment, but the umpire massively, I think, overreacted and tossed JT Realmuto from the game, ejected it immediately, just turned around in a huff and just, ooh, you're gone. And JT Realmuto's like, what?
He's laughing. He's smiling in his face.
And said, I thought you were throwing him back the ball.
Right.
I couldn't even see you. How?
Yeah, do I have eyes in the back of my head?
How did I pull pull the rug out from under you at the last second? I didn't know what was going on. I've never been ejected in my entire career, and this is going to be my first time in a spring training game over this. But yeah, he got ejected, had to walk down the sidelines, the walk of shame, I guess, as it was. I think for the most part, I bet JT Realmuto gets an apology from that. He's not even a regular umpire. He's like a fill-in umpire who's probably not going to get more opportunities after a display like that in a spring training game yesterday. You got to have a little bit of an even temperament, right? If you're going to be an umpire.
You have
for
to
the
have
most
a really even temperament. It's a tough job. I'll tip my hat to you. Everyone's griping at you all game. The best ones tune out the noise, call them as they see them. They don't make it personal. They don't do creepy stuff like finger your hands as they're staring deeply into your eyes. Like when you had us defending Madison Bumgarner last year, you're a terrible umpire because Mad Bum. Nobody likes Mad Bum. Mad Bum's family doesn't even like Mad Bum. Bro, we're in here defending Mad Bum because of that creepy umpire fingering his hands and staring deeply into his eyes, and just a weird. Now we've given them even more power and more ability to change the outcome of a game. This year's going to be a bit anxiety-inducing for a lot of us, especially people like me. I was livid at that yesterday. Nobody wants to see Randy Rosenberg. Nobody bought a ticket to see Randy Rosenberg play. They did want to see JT Realmuto. That's who they wanted to see.
Now, JT Realmuto, like every baseball player on the last day of spring training, just wants to get out of there. Yeah. So probably did him a favor, secretly smiling as he walked off the field. Ooh, I get to leave 3 or 4 innings early. Thank you for that. I'm done.
There's a phenomenal show that our buddy Craig Elston recommended to us last year. It's on Hulu. It's called Mr. In Between. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. You will rip through it. It is brilliant. Now, there's a scene in there. I retweeted this scene the other day. His therapist says to him, well, there's a lot of a-holes in the world, Ray. And Ray says, yeah, you know why? Because people keep letting them get away with it. And it just hit home with me. And it's absolutely true. And I want to bring this up about Washington Wizards guard Bradley Beal. was playing in a game. They lost to the Magic, 122 to 112. So Bradley Beal walking down the tunnel to the Wizards locker room, and one of the fans that was kind of nearby and leaning over said, "You effed me out of $1,300, you F." Bradley Beal turned, looked at him, walked up to him, and knocked the hat right off of his head. And they started jawing back and forth. He said, "Hey, keep it a buck. I don't give an F about none of your bets or your parlays, bro. That's not why I play the game." So little flurry of words between the two. He was ushered to the locker room without further incident. What did the guy do? He went to the police. And filed
on Bradley Beal.
On Bradley Beal. Filed a report saying that he swatted the cap. And when he swatted the cap, he hit me in the head. And they took a report for battery and began investigating. Bro. If you don't start any, there won't be any. That's how I feel. These men are there to play a basketball game, try to win, play their very best. They're not there for your bets. They're not there for your fantasy team. They're not there for you don't get to sit like a Roman emperor and watch these men out on the court. It does, because you buy a ticket, does not give you the right to scream, at players as they're walking off.
What about sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me? Just ignore him.
Well, I mean, get out of my face. I don't care. Why would he care about your? Again, if you don't scream at him, you're not going to get your hat knocked off. We've had this conversation before.
I know.
If I walk up to a guy and say, "You are a disgusting pig, and so is your wife," and he punches me in the nose, why am I suing that guy? Whose fault is it?
But what's the line? If the fan had said, "Oh man, you suck. I hate you. You're the worst player in the world."
I mean, again,
what if he's an opposing fan? Aren't you not allowed to jeer the players you don't want?
I think there's a line. I do think there's a line.
But where is that line?
I mean, he called him an F.
Obviously, knocking off his hat is not a big deal, but again, punching him in the face. If he had punched him in the face,
it's not battery.
You're saying it would have been almost justified if he had popped him in the nose.
No, I don't want to promote violence.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to promote violence. But again,
slippery slope.
It is slippery. It is. But why are there so many a-holes in the world? Because we keep letting them get away with it.
Maybe Beal should have just screamed back, "You're ugly and you suck."
Yeah, I mean, you do have to turn the other cheek sometimes, but I feel like these guys, it's getting progressively worse and worse every time these guys go out and take the field or, take the court, whatever. Fans have gotten a little too comfortable, I think.
All right, finally, our do this on an anniversary show. This may be a little bit of Giants loving, but I thought
just a little bit.
I thought it was very cool what they did to honor a player who was instrumental in their World Series run, relief pitcher Sergio Romo, who spent 9 years with the Giants, actually had a 0.00 ERA in their 3 World Series runs. Just was key for Bruce Bochy, and 3 saves and 6 World Series appearances. Went on and played after his 9 years with the Giants with the Dodgers, Tampa Bay, Miami, Minnesota. Wasn't a heralded prospect, 28th round draft pick out of Colorado Mesa University. He's from Brawley, about 100 miles east of here in the desert. Grew up in California, and they said he had announced his retirement I think a while ago. He said, "I've already started playing golf," but the Giants said, "Would you like to come back and pitch one more game for us?" And he said, "I guess I can do that." So they signed him, and they had an exhibition game last night at Oracle Park in San Francisco against the Oakland A's. They brought him into the game with his signature music here, El Machón. Came in, got a huge ovation, pitched his inning. It was just it's a nice way to send someone out. Not a lot of guys get that opportunity to come back to the team that they broke in with, had some success with, get to retire with for one day. His family came out. They got to take pictures on the field. There was the big screen said, "Thank you, Sergio Romo." It was a nice moment that is a good model, I think, for teams to follow if they can get that opportunity to honor a player that was loved up there in San Francisco.
A couple cool things that went on in baseball yesterday, bringing kids in to let them know they made the big league roster. Those are always those get me every single time. Yeah. We talked about that a little last week. It's a really cool thing, but yeah, that is some major Giants loving going on right now, but that's okay. He's done.
He retired. He pitched one last time, and that's it.
That's cool that they let him go out and throw.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Would you like to go to a San Diego Legion game? We've got a pair of tickets to Sunday's game against Old Glory DC at Snapdragon Stadium up for grabs right now. Let's do a third caller at 833-288-0973. Third caller, 833-288-0973 wins a pair of tickets to the SD Legion game against Old Glory DC at Snapdragon Stadium. You can buy your own tickets at sdlegion.com. All right, we'll come back. We haven't gone through some of our favorite moments from the last 5 years of the Ben and Woods program. Dip into those audio archives, into the vault of Ben and Woods on our 5-year anniversary. And then Jesse Agler next hour for the first time this season, coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's really remarkable that anybody would let you asshats run their show in city for 5 years. You
You know
gotta
who
be
that is.
absolutely kidding me. Nah, all due respect, man. Love you guys. 5 years, that's impressive. That is a blessing. That means that the malarkey coming out you guys' mouth, people really like to listen to. So, hey, to 5 more years, keep it up. Make sure you got my damn beard ready for me when I get back to San Diego, because all the damn goodwill work I'm doing for you. Bring back my section and my show, because I'm about to be in random places. But no, 5 years. Here's the 5 more years. Ben and Woods, Paulie, love you guys. Hey, let's go. Cheers.
It's one of the best additions to this program ever.
Want to know where he recorded that?
Yeah. Everyone sounds super hungover in their
with Adam Jones, it actually might be true.
It could have been 5 in the morning when he actually recorded that, because I didn't know where he was in the world.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
hey, I'm running with the Bulls today. He is something else. Well, this hour, by the way, of 97.3 The Fan, brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, home of the world famous Bob-O-Pedic mattresses. With all the comfort and quality of a national mattress brand for half the price. No matter your budget, there's a Bob-O-Pedic memory foam hybrid or hybrid plus mattress for you. Check them out at mybobs.com.
All right, we got another live caller on the air. You can leave your message at the tone for the Ben and Woods anniversary show. Go ahead. Beep.
Hello?
You're on the air.
Hey, this is Steve Sugimoto.
Stevie!
Yeah.
Beloved.
What's up?
Hey, pal.
What's up? I just wanted to call real quick to say congratulations on 5 years together on the radio.
Thank you, buddy.
So real quick, if anybody is new to the program, Steve Sugimoto is our buddy. He's part of the family. This was like summer of 21, or was it
2021? I think,
2021, when the NIL deals became officially legal in college sports. Name, image, and likeness. Players and athletes could go out and get endorsements and make a little bit of money finally. And on literally day one, we signed Steve Sugimoto to a probably illegal NIL deal while he was a golfer at San Diego State, and he's been part of the crew ever since.
And now trying to make his way professionally, and we are pulling for you, Steve, as you go through the grind and try to get to the PGA Tour. I know you'll make it someday, though, man, and appreciate your support, and thank you for calling in.
Yes, I just want to say my congratulations, and I wish I could make it out to the Ben and Woods Open this year, but I'll be busy with some scheduling conflicts, and but I promise I'll repay you guys with some Masters tickets soon.
I
yes.
love that idea. And Ben, you know what's funny? Ben still thinks he can beat Steve. That's the best.
I mean,
part.
not every single time.
But
I'm
he
just
does.
saying,
He
like
thinks he
once in a lifetime round, it could happen. It might. It's not happening right now.
Steve
Though.
Sugimoto fell and
Maybe
broke his leg.
maybe the next lifetime.
Yeah, maybe in your next lifetime.
Yeah, Pinehurst number 2 beat me up on Friday last week. Amazing course, though. Hopefully, you'll qualify for one of these U.S. Opens at Pinehurst. I'll give you some inside knowledge if you need it, Steve, from my experience over the weekend.
Yeah, if you also want to shoot an 87, Ben can fill you in on what to do.
I can fill you in on
If I
what
ever
not
play
to
a
do.
major at Pinehurst,
I know
if I ever
way
play a
more
major
things.
at Pinehurst, then you're hired. Ben.
I love it. I love it. I have great advice for you. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, buddy. Love you. Keep up the good work, man.
All right.
What a good kid.
Yeah, getting to know Steve is actually one of my favorite things about the last 5 years. Just an amazing kid, and we are absolutely pulling for him. It's so hard. I mean, watch that grind series on the Fire Pit Collective, and I mean, he's been going back and forth to Japan to try to make it through like Monday qualifiers on the Asian tour to, hopefully someday rise up, get his PGA Tour card. It is so hard to make a living playing golf. Once you get there, of course, it looks like the best job in the world, but getting there ain't easy.
It's one of those kids. Yeah, that kid, if I had more money than I knew what to do with, I would just sponsor him so that he could go do it. He's that good of a person. And he's a really, really great golfer. But the person that is Steve Sugimoto that's the kid we all fell in love with, man. Total gem. One of the biggest hearts you'll ever meet. So thank you, Steve. We appreciate you. You've made a massive impact on our show.
Well, there was when we asked the tier ones, what was your signature favorite Ben and Woods moment? There was one answer that dominated the rest. We'll get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family. Here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Well, they finally cleared the crash on southbound 15 at the southbound 805 connector. Now northbound side of the 805, right before the 54, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles. They appear to be blocking the slow lane. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
You know, it's when we look back at this moment that we're about to replay, we always knew it was a bit of a turning point for our show, but now in retrospect, it almost feels like a turning point for the entire city of San Diego.
Yes.
Would you agree?
I would. This is the ignition. This is the ignition of the rocket. That's how I've always looked at it. This is when they finally lit the thing, and it started to, you know how when we watch a rocket launch, it looks like it's going really, really slow, and that's what it was. This was the moment that, and really for the team and really for this show.
You knew it was going to be big for baseball fans and Padres fans in San Diego.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us could have ever known, though, how the Padres would come to just explode in the community in ways that we've never seen baseball be embraced in San Diego before. Yeah, there's always been loyal Padres fans, and Padres have been a solid franchise, but just the far reaches of everybody in San Diego kind of jumping on and deciding, yes, I want to be a part of this journey now with the San Diego Padres has been incredible to follow and get to see up close over these last few years. And clearly the signing of Manny Machado to a free agent contract back in 2019, right at the beginning of spring training. So just over 4 years ago, last month,
February
was the beginning.
19th, 2019.
Man.
You guys were talking about something.
That's the genius of it. They decided they're not culpable
Guys,
for fixing games.
it's happening.
What?
Jeff Passan, check mark. Breaking. Free agent star Manny Machado has agreed to a deal with the San Diego Padres.
Wow.
League sources tell ESPN.
Shut up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's happening.
Oh my God.
Really?
It's happening!
Yeah,
Oh
check
my
mark.
God. What do we do? What do I do?
I don't know, we need some music or something.
Something.
I don't know what to do.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow. All right, here it
That's
comes.
him, dude. That is him. Oh my God. Holy ass word.
We did it.
Manny Machado, a Padre.
All right, this is
Sorry, Ben. Sorry,
Ben
Ben.
didn't want
this
it.
is
Sorry,
pretty
man.
big stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking at it myself
Oh
right
my
now.
God. I'm dancing.
Manny Machado has agreed to a deal with the San Diego Padres. League sources tell ESPN. There it is.
That is just...
Reputable source.
All right, guys. All right, just be cool. Everybody be cool. This happens all the
Shaking.
time. No, we're doing. Yeah, this is piece of cake. Piece of cake.
All right, this changes the discussion a little bit.
Oh my God. That
Certainly.
morning, honestly, there was something that came out on Twitter, and it was like this black and white glove, like a Rawlings glove. And the speculation was, oh, Manny's going to the South Side, or could it be navy blue and white? Is he going to New York? The Yankees had coveted Manny for many, many years because, well, I think he hit about 800 against him. He made every play that you could ever imagine. And I originally thought, all right, man, it's going to be Chicago. Great fit. I thought, great fit. What a move for them. And no, man, Yonder Alonso got in his ear a little bit and said, look, this is a team on the come. The city, you and Yane will fall in love with. You don't really, Yonder played on the South Side. If you're weighing South Side of Chicago against San Diego, California, and the money's the same, you make this pick every time. And he did. He chose the Padres, and I think, like I said, man, it was the ignition of this rocket that is this show. And
we were 11 months in at that point.
Yeah, we had added a nice little fan base, some loyal listeners every day. But that one, we stayed on. We stayed on about an extra hour, and we took calls, and that one was like one of the most special days of my whole life, my whole career. And it watching him in his presser and watching him, I know he struggled the first year and got here and started a little bit slow, but then you started to see the defense, and you're like, oh my my God, this is like nothing I've ever seen. And then, the sky's the limit from there, obviously, and look at the roster that they put together now, just a few years later. But holy cow, man, that moment put us on the map.
You knew, though, your reaction, you knew how big this was going to be. I was a little more stunned.
Well, that's when you were way, like, what's higher than a colonel? An admiral? You were admiral budget at that point. You were like, what's president budget? I mean,
4-star general budget.
4-star general budget. Then every nickel that they would spend, he would sit and he would parse it out, and they can't do this, and there's no way. And I'm like, stop. It was the Yankee fan in me going, it's not your money. Who cares?
But we didn't. I think most of San Diego and most of Padres fans were like me. We didn't understand. We couldn't envision a future. 4 years later, it doesn't seem crazy at all that the Padres signed Manny Machado. It seems crazy that we all thought that it was impossible.
That they couldn't.
That there was no way the Padres could pay a $300 million to a baseball player. Little did we know that 4 years later, they'd be giving out 9-figure contracts like they were a soda dispenser, out of a vending machine coming out here in San Diego. But that's not what we thought 4 years and 1 month ago.
Well, and listen, Manny was in a weird spot in his career. He had, been traded to the Dodgers. That didn't go particularly well, even though he played well, I think, for LA. But they didn't want him back, and San Diego did. And man, it has paid off. It has paid off and then some. And then the influence that Manny has. I mean, this is not private information, but I talked to AJ Preller about it. If there's one player on that team that would wear and should wear the junior GM shirt, it's him. Manny Machado is the ultimate junior GM. That's what he is. He, by all accounts, is like, we need to get this guy, and we need to get this guy.
Look at Nelly Cruz.
Look at Nelly Cruz.
That was last spring training. We haven't got Nelly Cruz.
We need to get these guys. That dude is as junior GM as it gets, and because he wants to win, and he wants to win for the city. He's put down roots here.
I think about when we got Juan Soto last year, and we were down on the field, and remember Manny and Peter just
hugging.
He put his arm around Peter,
him.
And the smile on Manny's face, it was like, thank you. Like,
yeah, let's get it.
I wanted to get a guy of that caliber on this team so we could take our team to the next level. You went and did it. Thank you, Peter.
It was incredible, man. It was incredible.
Couple other of my favorite, at least one of my favorite memories was Joe Musgrove's no-hitter. We had, of course, had a great relationship with Joe even before he came to the San Diego Padres. Paulie had a connection through Grossmont High School, and we had him on a few times when he was still a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He gets traded to the Padres. That was really exciting. And then, of course, in first road start of the year, for the San Diego Padres back in 2021. We had him on just, what was it, April 7th?
April 7th would have been a Wednesday, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And then on Friday, he started in Texas against the Rangers through the no-hitter. And then we came back and did a special Saturday show to react to what had happened on Friday night.
No balls in one strike.
Got to
the big
talk to
right-hander
Joe
ready and delivers. Swing and a ground ball to shortstop. Kim has it. Friendly hop. Throw to first. That is a no-hitter, and that is history. Joe Musgrove with the first no-hitter in Padre history. April 9th, 2021 at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. The kid comes home, and he gets it done.
It was unbelievable.
I have
what a night.
Goosebumps everywhere.
So great. That ground ball went to Ha-Seong Kim, and I go, he got it. He's getting it. Ha-Seong Kim's not blowing that play. That's not going to be a hit. He got it. He did it.
Megan and I were in La Jolla. We had tickets to a comedy show that night. Somebody that she'd been looking forward to seeing for a couple months. Went out to dinner. We're watching the game on our phones, and I'm like, all right, it's the third inning. Now it's the fifth inning. We drive up to the comedy club. We're sitting in the car. It's the seventh inning. I go, I don't know if we're going to make it into this. And she's like, no, we aren't moving. Missed the entire show. Watched it on our phone on the dashboard of our car, just screaming and going nuts. I'll never forget that moment, man. It was so much fun.
Being the last team in Major League Baseball to not have one and to get close a couple times, it's excruciating. You want to just check that box, and to have the hometown kid get it. I mean, my God, it just doesn't get any better than how it's been the last few years. It's just incredible.
Yeah, man, I'll take a second now while I have a little bit of an outreach to San Diego and just thank everybody for all the messages. I'm going to do my best to reach out and get back to everybody, but it's been a bit overwhelming. But I really felt the love from everybody, man. not only, excitement for me throwing the no-hitter, but all the kind things people have said about who I am as a person and my work ethic. It feels real good for people to recognize me for those things. So I do want to thank everybody that's out there listening.
Remember, that was the first couple of weeks of his Padres tenure.
Yes.
And we didn't know. I mean, it could have been a one-off, all right, Joe throws a no-hitter, and then that was the highlight of his Padres career. To see where
That
he
would
has
have been
gone,
enough, by the way.
Yeah, but
that would have been enough.
now to see what he has done since then, the leader he's become, his playoff, performances, especially in New York last year, and then signing the contract extension, the $100 million deal to stay in San Diego long term. What a journey it's been for Joe Musgrove here with the San Diego Padres and in his hometown. One of the best stories in baseball. Got to be Joe Musgrove.
It absolutely is. Check out the Spotlight if you haven't seen it yet. It's so good to make you cry, man. It is my little boy, man. My Bobo loves Joe Musgrove so much, and that makes me love him even more. Just a good dude, a guy that you want representing your team. Honestly, win or lose, he's a guy you want representing your team, but he is I love everything about him, and he has just cemented his legacy here.
It's a little behind the scenes, but like athletes don't go on a radio show, the same radio show twice in 1 week.
Yeah,
that
pretty much
almost
ever.
never happens. We had him on, like we said, on Wednesday. He throws the no on Friday. Friday night at like 11 o'clock, the three of us are texting, well, we're going in tomorrow morning. We're doing a special show. It's like 1 a.m. in Texas, and there are times where we have an idea of like a guest, and you're just like, the answer. It's a no. Why even waste your time? We asked for Joe. We said, hey, I know we just had him on. We're doing a special show. Every Padres fan is going to be listening. Does Joe want to come on? They asked him, and he goes, absolutely. You let me know when you want me on the show. And that speaks volumes about who he is, man.
He's a G, man, straight up. And wish nothing but the best for Joe. And he's going to put in the work to get there. To win a World Series ring, hey, maybe he's on the bump when the Padres win that elusive World Series ring. That would be even more special. I mean, he's got his mural at Grossmont, but you keep pitching the way that you can. Let's get that statue out there too.
Our next 2 hours going to be filled with some more memories, but we also have some guests coming up, including 8:35, Jesse Agler, his first, I want to call this the first in-season visit with Jesse. I know technically it hasn't started yet, but hey, it is opening day on Thursday, and Jesse is going to be the one bringing us all the action here in 2023 on 97.3 The Fan. Don't forget that right before Jesse at about 8:28, going to give away a couple of Padres opening day tickets on Thursday, so keep listening for your chance to win. And then at 9:35, Aztec for Life, Tim Shelton, part of the first exciting team that captured San Diego's attention. Now seeing his alma mater going to the Final Four for the first time, but he was part of this journey with Steve Fisher and now Brian Dutcher as an assistant coach in college basketball. Now it's going to be great catching up with Tim Shelton coming up at 9:35 this morning as we get ready for the Final Four. What a week this is.
Massive.
Just happens to be our anniversary as well. 5 years of Ben and Woods. The celebration continuing. All guests appear on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Back with some of our great one-off opens in Ben and Woods history next.
Hey guys, it's Adam. Just want to take this time to congratulate you on 5 incredible years together. I'm so glad that you've been able to spend the majority of that time with us here at 97.3 The Fan. You guys do an incredible job entertaining our audience and go above and beyond without having to be asked to do so most of the time. It's going to be extra sweet hearing you guys throughout this epic upcoming Padres season and for many more years to follow. I love and appreciate all three of you, and I know you guys feel the exact same way about me based on all the you give me. Happy 5-year anniversary, guys.
Yeah, the worst thing, thank you, Adam. The worst thing that can happen.
I've never heard Adam say a bad word before.
I haven't either. No, he has it at me before.
Yeah, I've heard it.
The worst thing that can happen, Adam, is when we stop talking about you. That's what you don't want. You don't want us to stop talking about it. Speak of the devil, look at him. He's walking around right now.
He lurks.
He does. He's a lurker.
He just lurks.
He's a sidler, and not in a good way. He sidles up behind you, and you turn around and he's
gonna say,
Is it extra sweet because it's against the
Nothing better
Dodgers?
than being a sidler in San Diego right now. But
yeah,
okay.
that's true. It's a different kind. It's a different kind of sidler. He's a different breed of sidler. Or put Adam Klug.
So I think Molly has done something really cool. You just heard our show, and we've been using that one for a little while now. About
one. Now, maybe a different iteration.
I mean, we moved it up a little bit. The music has been the same.
We've added to it. Sure.
Picked our signature opening music, Rolling Stones, from the very beginning, and we stuck with that for the entire 5 years. But every once in a while, something happens that causes Paulie to go above and beyond and create like a signature, a one-off, a special show open to signify an important moment in our show or in San Diego sports, something that's been going on. And Paulie had this idea. Let's bring back some of our favorite signature show opens that we've done over the years.
So we have, like, this was our original show open. Same, like I said, we've used the Stones and we've added to it. We've had different iterations of that. I mean, yeah, we've been doing this now for a while. At least over the last year, we've kind of elevated our opens when there's a big moment that calls for it. I think about after the wild card series last season in New York, we took down the Mets.
Real good.
We opened that Monday show with a little Timmy Trumpet.
Such trolls.
Well, you do love your flatulence noises.
I do.
You are 6 in that way.
I really am.
What's going to happen when your kids become more mature than you in 3 years?
This pretty much already happened. One of them at least, but no, I mean, that's funny. That's funny to me. They did. They soiled themselves. They really did. And we took it to them, but they, they had some of the best pitchers in the world. And we said, no problem. Handle business. You tried to bust us for using sticky, shiny stuff on Joe's ears, and Joe gave him the old boom. You know what I'm talking about.
I mean, every team is going to lose a playoff series at some point. It just felt pathetic the way that they did it with, calling out Joe and trying to,
it was absolutely embarrassing.
Trying to hide the fact that they were absolutely getting bodied in a decisive game 3.
Yeah, it was
I couldn't get anything going offensively. We're getting torn to pieces by the Padres offense. It was just sad. It was pathetic.
It was really, really pathetic. It was the after displays of Brian Kenny, beyond pathetic. Yeah, I've never seen anything more pathetic in my life. So that was a lot of fun taking the Mets down. And yeah, Paulie and I vividly recall laughing hysterically as we put that together in the morning. It was brilliant.
We had that led to the NLDS series, of course. And that would have been another Monday show because we won over the weekend. And I think everybody remembers that one. This is our Thursday open. No, Wednesday open.
One of my favorites. Gets me so hyped. What? Sure. Oh, okay. Ooh, mama. Oh. Oh.
They defeat the Dodgers in 4 games to advance to the National League Championship Series. They will play for the pennant beginning on Tuesday night here at home against the Phillies.
We are winning the World Series in 2022.
We're gonna party tonight like crazy. I am, and I'm not a partier, but I am tonight.
Shock factor very high. Disappointment very high. It's crushing.
Yeah, good for you. One of the best shows that we've ever done. Period. The end. That was, it obviously didn't work out the way we wanted it to with the Phillies. That said, that moment will live in my mind for the rest of my life.
I've noticed Dave Roberts has been conspicuously quieter this spring.
Yeah, smart move.
Probably a good move
on his
They've
part.
they're playing the underdog card. They've decided to go completely in a different direction.
It's not often that you have a $200 million underdog, but that's what they're going to paint themselves as. And okay, that's fine. I guess they were on the broadcast the other day at spring training, and they said something about one of a player. They said, oh, he used to play for the dreaded Padres. I said, the dreaded Padres. Wow. And we didn't have any clips from Oral Hershiser, but that was the guy last year that he made me. I mean, it was like, I'm going to punch my wall. I've never heard a smarmier, sleazier sounding dude when he talked about this team than Oral Hershiser and his butter teeth. I've never heard it. He infuriates me to no end, that Oral Hershiser. God, I can't stand that dude. Just as smarmy and just dripping with sarcasm every time he would talk about the San Diego Padres, man. And oh God, he just rubs me the wrong way. Bulldog. So yeah, those are fun. We have a new one we're already cooking up for opening day. You guys are gonna dig it.
Oh yeah,
a lot. It's a good one. It's a good one.
So it looks like we talked about it earlier. Obviously, we're a little concerned about the weather for opening day. Rain or shine, though, we're going to be at Happy Does downtown. Make sure you join us starting at 6 a.m. We're going to be giving away some Padres autographed baseballs, like legit Padres autographed baseballs. Make sure you show up for your chance to win at Happy Does, 340 Fifth Avenue. It's brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. Coach John Quintero is going to be out there from 10 to noon as well for what we hope is still going to be an on-time start. And the latest information I got was, there's going to be rain in the morning. They'll probably have to pull the tarp out. Maybe no batting practice on the field, so it might not feel exactly like opening day, but the afternoon's looking a little bit better. The rain should subside.
It's going to be cold either way.
Yeah, it's going to be in the 50s. So, you bundle up a little bit, but we'd rather have baseball than no baseball on Thursday. And so far, I think it's trending in a good direction that by the time the game time hits at 1:10, they should be able to have the tarp off the field and hopefully be ready to play. At the most, some sprinkles, some lighter showers in the afternoon. They play through that in other cities. We don't have to see it a lot here in San Diego. But, a little bit of rain here and there is not going to cancel opening day for the Padres.
No, I've got Gallagher Square tickets, so I'm really looking forward to standing outside in the rain and watching the game. I'll be in the concourse, I'm sure, sucking down Budweisers or something. But, I think they'll get the game in. If that's what we're worried about, I think they'll get the game in. Going to be a little bit nipply, so, and wet. So wear your rubbers, wear your slicker, and dress appropriately. It's really throwing a monkey wrench into a lot of people's opening day fits, the outfit. You want to look sharp on it. But you will be, I would assume, Ben, you will be in nice pants and a button-down shirt.
Yeah, I've got some TV anchoring to do starting at 11 a.m., so you'll see me in my TV gear.
At 11.
Yeah.
So you get out of there at 10, and then you go where? To Petco?
Roof of the Marriott again, I believe. Yeah, we're going to do that bit before the game and anchor on 10 News, and then back after the game at 4 p.m., back to the roof of the Marriott for post-game coverage on 10 News.
It's a busy day.
It is a busy Thursday. It's always opening day is always a busy day.
It's such a labor of love, though. It's so fun to be down there.
It is.
My wife getting to go to her first opening day. She's very, very
first
excited.
one, really?
Yeah, I want to say we went years ago, but she says we didn't.
There's such an energy. I mean, yeah, the playoff energy was unbelievable, but opening day has its own great feeling.
Well, and this
it's a little less pressure. It's more fun. You don't feel that crushing anxiety that you do during a playoff game.
What? I feel massive crushing anxiety
on opening day.
Well, this opening day in particular, because you've never seen a roster like this in the history of Major League Baseball.
But they're not going 162-0.
You're such a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm a realist.
I mean, they could technically.
Technically, I guess if they win the first game,
they haven't lost yet.
That would be a good season.
What if they drop that first?
They could. They absolutely could, and still take 3 or 4 from the Rockies and be just fine. There'd be no problem with that.
Doom and gloom on a Friday after the first game.
I'm gonna ask Bob Melvin the tough questions.
Bob, what happened yesterday, bud? What happened?
You guys gonna win a game at all this year?
Yeah, what's going on? I mean, what are we doing here? I thought you guys had this great team. The interesting thing about the San Diego Padres, Ben, and you can speak to this better than anybody. Have they ever been the team to beat going into a season?
No.
And I mean, ever.
Not at all.
Ever. Have they ever been picked to win the division, as far as you remember?
Actually picked to win the division. I think maybe in 98, they might have been the favorites after picking up Kevin Brown. But I can't guarantee you that they still weren't picked behind the Dodgers that year. Yeah. I don't remember the preseason picks, but there was a lot of hype and excitement about the team. They've been to the playoffs 2 years before in 1996, so they knew they had a good roster. They had an MVP in Ken Caminiti. They had Greg Vaughn. They had Andy Ashby. They had Trevor Hoffman. I mean, it was a really good roster. There were definitely some people who picked the Padres, if not unanimously, to win the division and go to the playoffs that year.
Obviously the journey all starts Thursday. It's so hard to win a World Series, but man, you sure love what they've put together. And that's why I say it's more anxiety inducing, because used to you could go to opening day and be like, I can fall down drunk and fall in a gutter and it doesn't really matter. They're probably going to lose this game and probably going to lose, 90 to 100 more. This one just feels, I'm certainly more anxious to get this thing going than I have been in the past.
It was, it's been pointed out though, you don't go through a 162 game season without some sort of adversity,
right?
Whether it's injuries, just the unexpected, but it makes you feel good that Bob Melvin is not only the manager, but is coming back as a second season.
Yes.
Remember, Bob Melvin didn't even have a chance to really get prepared for last season because of the lockout. He didn't have a full spring training. He didn't get to know everybody. It was all kind of on the fly. And then by the end of the year, we saw the impact that Bob Melvin can have. I think in his second season, he's going to be even more comfortable even just a steadier influence on the Padres than they had even in 2022.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got new faces and new guys to manage, and he's got Fernando Tatis, who he didn't really know. The job ahead of him is monumental. It's monumental, and when you get all those guys in a room, and those guys are superstars. And we talked to Xander Bogaerts. I mean, that dude walked in day one and was like, "Yo, you bat me anywhere you want except for second because I don't like this." And he's got Manny in his ear, and he's got Soto in his ear, and he's got Crony probably doesn't say much, but he's got Tatis. He wants to make sure he's happy. There's an element to it also of psychologist, dad, cat wrangler. I mean, you are still a bit of a cat wrangler, even though these are grown men and professionals. You are still making sure everybody doing what they need to be doing. And my office is always open. I'm here for you. It's a tough
but
gig.
they're all guys, almost all of them, really, when you look at the core of the Padres, who are known for putting winning first.
Yes,
Manny,
work ethic.
Nelly Cruz, Matt Carpenter, Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, leadership, work ethic,
Joe Musgrove.
About the team and winning. It's not a collection of prima donnas.
Yeah.
It's not just the talent that they've put on the field. These are winners. These are guys who will control their own locker room. I think Bob Melvin probably is saying to himself, less is more.
Do less.
I just need to stand back and let Nelson Cruz and Manny Machado take care of their business.
Insert myself when I need to insert myself instead of trying to do a rah-rah every single day, which I know other managers in the past that have been here the last few years. That's what they tried. Tons of meetings. We need to do this. We need to do that. And after a while, it just kind of grates on you after 162 game season. And we saw that horrific slide a couple of years ago, and they teased us with one last year. They did. They teased us with one, and they fought their way out of it.
And then Bob Melvin stepped in, late in the season when that happened, and the Padres were struggling in September.
That's what surprises me so much about that offseason news about Sean Manaea. That's what really blew my mind when you had all those guys and you have all those leaders. And you had a guy that literally was like, I'm not going to throw my side session. I'm going to eat like crap. I'm not going to run. And that's what blew my mind. That's why I was so surprised that kind of stuff went down. And with the pieces they've added now, it's hard for me to foresee that happening again, So, we'll see how it all plays out. But it's going to be a big day on Thursday.
All right, we're coming back Thursday, big day. If you want to be there, we've got some opening day tickets to give away. That's going to happen before the bottom of the hour. Also, our Tier 1 tour almost done with our look at every other team in baseball, all the Padres opponents, the St. Louis Cardinals. Next up on our Tier 1 tour of spring training camps, giving away some Padres tickets, and then Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, at the bottom of the hour as we continue celebrating 5 years of Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be back after a check of traffic. All right, we're almost done, I think. Nearing the end of our Tier 1 tour of Padres training camps or spring training camps. I think the St. Louis Cardinals are up today. And Woodsy, this is as I looked at their lineup, I was surprised. It's a little more loaded than I think I thought it was going to be. Tons of World Baseball Classic players. Obviously, you knew Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, but Tommy Edman, Lars Nootbaar as well. And the pickup of Wilson Contreras in the offseason behind the plate makes this a lineup that is deeper than most in Major League Baseball. And maybe I've been sleeping on the Cardinals a little bit this offseason.
I was just going to say that exact phrase. I feel like this is a team that everybody is sleeping on, Ben. Their lineup is loaded. I mean, it's loaded. You wonder what they're going to get from their rotation. Jack Flaherty is, I believe he's healthy finally, but will he stay healthy? That's always the issue with Jack. Good pitcher. Steven Matz, Jordan Montgomery could end up being one of the steals of the decade for that team. They traded Harrison Bader, who's always hurt, to the Yankees for Montgomery, who has really settled into the Cardinal way, as they call it there, Ben. Steven Matz, Jack Flaherty, Miles Michaelis, Adam Wainwright. I think they'd probably feel better if they had one more big arm in their starting rotation. But, man, they've got a kid. Jordan Walker, 20 years old, just made the ball club out of spring training, who is a superstar in the making. Where does he play? I wanted to say he played.
I think he's third baseman, which
he's
not going to be playing
right.
third with Nolan Arenado there.
So
but
I don't know where he's going to play. But they did add Wilson Contreras as well. Picked him up from the Cubs, signed him to a free agent deal, and he is. I mean, he's an offensive. He's a stud, and I think he's going to make their lineup so much deeper. But yeah, they're a scary ass team, dude. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, when you look at the potential playoff picture in the National League, we've talked about this before, but the 6 playoff teams, given now, a little deeper look at the Cardinals, and I think they're a good notch above the Brewers and any other contender in the NL Central. It's again hard to imagine any team other than the Padres, Dodgers, Mets, Braves, Phillies, and Cardinals being your 6 playoff teams in the National League.
Yep.
Now, it almost never works that way. I don't know that there's been a season in baseball history where you can just say, I guarantee that these will be all the playoff teams in one league. It doesn't happen in baseball like that. Yet I'm sitting here and I can't make a good argument for really any other team. It requires a leap of imagination, a stretch to say, oh yeah, I think the Marlins, they're a team on the rise. They could clip the Phillies in the NL East and finish above them and get a wild card. Not really. The Giants, so maybe they'll pass the Dodgers this year. Not really. I mean, the Brewers can beat the Cardinals in the NL Central. I guess maybe if the Cardinals, have some injuries and these guys don't perform lineup wise the way you're expecting. But like every preview in America this week, you're probably going to see them almost all choose the same 6 playoff teams.
I couldn't agree more. I'm looking at the entire NL right now, and all right, just cross them off. Nationals not making it. Braves are. Marlins probably aren't. Mets are. Phillies are. Cardinals are. Dodgers are. Padres are. There you go. There's your 6. Who else? Who else? Cubs aren't going to do it. Pirates aren't going to do it. Reds aren't going to do it. Marlins won't do it. Nationals won't do it. Rockies aren't doing it. Diamondbacks aren't doing it. Giants aren't doing it. I mean, it's who's going to be that surprise team? I cannot for the life of me think what team's going to fall and what team's going to enter. And I think you could go. I think you could go really heavy on 5 almost guaranteed teams in the playoff. There will be that one that doesn't quite live up to expectations. Who will be the team that supplants them? I can't put a finger on who I think the team will fall off. Could it be the Phillies? I look at them and I'm like, you're freaking loaded.
I mean, they feel like they've gotten better.
They lost Reese Hoskins, and he's a 30 home run.
But they're going to get Bryce Harper back at some point.
At mid-season. So
maybe a slow start because of the injuries, and they just can't quite overcome it.
Somebody's pitching is going to falter. I don't think it's the Braves. I just don't know. I really don't know. It's pretty confounding, and obviously you hope it's not us. That's the main thing is you hope we're one of those 5s that you can kind of cement into a playoff team.
All right. I know a lot of people have been tuning in for the chance to win Padres tickets to opening day. I want to reward some people who've been really listening though. So I'm going to throw a trivia question out into the world. We talked about it earlier. So we started our show 5 years ago Opening day, March 29th, 2018. I think it was our third show. Who was the starting shortstop for the Padres that day?
Oh, I like that.
Woods talked about it. We mentioned it earlier. The last starting shortstop before Fernando Tatis Jr. Took over in 2019. Who was the starting shortstop in 2018 for the San Diego Padres? Call now, 833-288-0973. Your chance to win opening day tickets to the San Diego Padres. Get your tickets for opening weekend at padres.com/tickets. We'll see you out there, and we will talk to Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, launching another season with Ben and Woods on Tuesdays, coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. And now let's get to our financial moment here on 97.3 The Fan.
Paulie, Ben, Woods, it's Jesse Agler, and I just wanted to incorporate myself into your anniversary celebration. Congratulations on 5 great years here on San Diego's #1 sports station and the home of the Padres, 97.3 The Fan. Be sure to tune in opening day this Thursday against the Rockies at 1:10. You guys are the best. Thank you for making me feel like I'm a little bit of a part of your hilarious little solar system. And coming home from Peoria today, looking forward to seeing you guys soon. But because I've been gone for about 6 weeks, I was wondering, is it still hot out?
What a legend. He's a legend.
Love that.
I wonder if Jesse likes hot fudge sundaes. We can ask him. He's standing by. He's going to join us in just a second. I did want to congratulate Mark, though, who called in and got our trivia question correct. Freddie Galvis was the starting shortstop when Ben Woods did our first week of shows for the San Diego Padres there in 2018.
Not Yu Darvish.
As was one of the guesses.
Yu Darvish starting at shortstop would be a scene, man.
Well, and even not on the Padres at
Right.
the time, obviously.
really?
So
That would have been a real scene.
yeah, probably would have led Sports Center that night. Huh. Yu Darvish, who doesn't even play for the
starting
Padres,
shortstop.
started for them today at shortstop.
Shout out to Mark. He was pumped. He goes, I took the day off because I was gonna sit at home with my son and watch opening day, and now he gets to take his son to opening day.
Come
Love
on.
that.
Beautiful, man.
Do one of those
Beautiful.
videos where you surprise him and like send it to us for the reaction shot.
Yeah, I love that bit. Tweet us at Ben and Woods. Love that bit.
All right, we're going to check traffic and then our first Jesse Agler in season appearance, I'm calling it, when we come back on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Got a couple of collisions here. One of them involving a motorcycle westbound King Freeway just before 25th Street. Looks like that's blocking the fast lane. And heading through Balboa Park, northbound side of the 163 before Robinson. There's a 2-car collision blocking the slow lane. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go out to
Is it still hot out there?
Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline here on the #1 sports station in San Diego. The home of Jesse Agler.
Have you
on
tried the
opening day
lasagna? It's
with
my
Tony
favorite.
Gwynn Jr. He is joining us right now, back from Peoria, Arizona.
Oh, it's got to feel good.
Oh,
Jesse
yeah.
Agler.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Real
yeah.
good.
When you walked in yesterday, now you've been away from the wife and the kids. Were you thrusted? When did you walk? You got home yesterday. Did you just get thrusted your children and your wife said, I'm out. I'm going to the spa.
I have not seen her today. She is. I got the kids off to school, and I haven't. She's still up there. I don't. I'm downstairs doing work. I'm doing opening day stuff. I got to run a bunch of errands, all that kind of thing. And I may or may not see her until about 2:00 this afternoon.
It's well deserved on her
Oh,
part.
for sure.
On her part, and yeah, you walk back in. It's like this is no respite. There's no respite being home right now because I'm going to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. We're so glad you're back. You guys did such a great job as usual out at spring training. But yeah, I when did you start to lose it? Because Paulie and I started to lose it last week. There was a game. We were getting one hit through like 7 innings. We'd struck out 14. It was against the Reds. And I went,
The night
that's
game,
it.
yeah.
Now I go, that's it. I'm done. I don't care. Get everyone home in one piece. I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to hear anything. That's when I lost it, Jesse.
Yeah, I don't know that I have like a specific moment in mind, but probably 4 or 5 days ago, you enter what I call bubble wrap baseball mode, which is what you said. You're just like, don't get hurt. Like, let's get a couple at bats and get out of there. Let's get the pitchers, the work that they need, and let's just make sure that nobody suffers any kind of injury. And then yesterday, I would say in that last game, kind of like the middle 3 innings, we were looking at each other like, we got to get out of here. And then it was just like a little wedge there of time where we were kind of over it. And then, the end of the game was fun. Pitch clock obviously has completely changed the complexion of these spring training games in a very positive way. But it's like such a wonderful time of year, spring training. And it really is. And I'm so excited to get out there. But there's no question that by the time you get to the end of it, you're like, all right, let's go. We got to go.
That being said, yesterday, the moment when Fernando Tatis Jr. threw out a runner at third base for his first outfield assist was pretty cool, and a nice call by you, Jesse. That was probably fun to watch in person.
It was awesome. Like I just been literally all spring waiting for somebody to try. And I mean, he had been sending lasers in all spring long, but like not to actually get anybody out. It was almost just to remind everybody, hey, you remember when I used to throw 99 from shortstop over to first base? I can do that out here too. And it was like just waiting. I did not have Tom Murphy, the former Rocky catcher, in the pool as the guy who was going to test him first. But that's who it ended up being. And it was like, I mean, it was just an absolutely perfect throw. I said to Tony a couple of minutes later, Ichiro was down in the dugout for the Mariners yesterday. I was like, I bet he enjoyed that. I mean, because that's what it looked like. And I mean, he is capable of such extraordinary things. Look, is he still, learning the finer points of how to play right field? Of course. And that's going to be a thing for a while. But man, that arm plays out there in a very big way. And you remember at the beginning of last season when teams kept testing Profar in left, and he just kept throwing people out like night after night after night. I don't know that Fernando's going to get that opportunity necessarily, but I hope teams try running on him early. But I can almost guarantee you they're not going to try once you get a couple of months into the season.
To parents of little leaguers out there that don't want to play right field, you show them that video and you say, that's where they put the kid with the strongest arm. That's exactly what happened to me in high school. I didn't want to play right field. I wanted to play in the infield with my friends, but I had a good arm, so they put me in right field. And you watch that kid. It reminds me, Jesse, when we were growing up, guys like Jesse Barfield and Mark Whitten that had these just cannons where you're Ichiro, later on, where you watch and you're like, this is going to save us runs. Like people will know, they'll start to learn. And it started to have, even with Profar didn't have the strongest arm, but he made strong enough, accurate throws. Fernando in right field is going to be a sight to behold. And I think, a couple of years, maybe even this year, you can start looking at that guy for some awards out there because he has all the raw talent and tools to get it done.
No doubt. Did you just compare yourself to Jesse Barfield?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah. And Mark Whitten. Don't forget about hard hitting Mark Whitten. They just had hoses on him. I mean, and Fernando's got that hose. But
you in high school, basically Roberto Clemente. That's what you're saying.
Not speedy. I wasn't fast. Just had the big arm. The big
no, I mean he's going to be fun to watch out there. He really is. And you know what? Also, he seems to really be enjoying it.
That's good.
Which is cool because obviously you didn't know necessarily like with all the moving around and everything and the way the last year has gone for him. But he really seems legitimately joyful and enthusiastic out there. And I think we all know the reason we all fell in love with Fernando, aside from his talent and his smile, is that enthusiasm and that joyfulness that he brings out on the field. So it's been really neat seeing that out there as well.
Jesse Agler with us, and we talked about the move earlier, the Padres optioning Jay Groom back to AAA after really a terrific spring, and a lot of us thought he had done enough to make the roster and at least get a start here or two while Joe Musgrove was on the injured list to begin the season. What was kind of the reaction there? Were you as surprised as we were to see that?
I wouldn't say I was surprised. I mean, first of all, Jay Groom is going to play a role on this team this year. It's very hard to imagine the Padres going through 2023 without Jay Groom, playing some kind of role in the big leagues. It seems like an inevitability every year, the last few years. At some point you're going around like, hey, we need a starter for Wednesday. There's always like that kind of thing. And Jay Groom's going to be a part of that. And last year, it didn't really feel like the Padres had a ton of great options to turn to in those moments. And so now you put Jay on that list, and I think that's really good. As you said, he had a very nice camp. He's going to be a part of this. You look at the way the rotation shapes up at the beginning of the year. They're going to get creative, I would imagine, in that fifth game. Hopefully Darvish pitches the sixth game. Hopefully Musgrove returns at some point on the road trip. And then it's like, all right, we're kind of into our rhythm here and into our groove, sort of looking like the way we thought it was going to look like. But, stuff always happens in the rotation. Stuff always, like it's going to be Ryan Weathers. It's going to be Jay Groom at different times. And maybe Julio Teheran at some point. Like these are all people who are going to be throwing critical innings for this team at some point this season, because every inning is going to be critical for this team this season because the aspirations and the expectations are what they are.
Talking to our pal Jesse Agler. Thank you for the kind voicemail. Very, very nice and self-promoting as well, which I always appreciate. I think it's really the only way to do it, Jesse. If you're not going to market you, no one will. And we certainly appreciate that on this show.
On your literal anniversary show, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to do it. There's no rest for the weary. I wanted to ask you, though, I love when you play Junior GM, and we actually have T-shirts. I'll get you on Junior GM Jesse Agler. there's only a couple of spots available. We just talked about the pitching, but who have you looked at this spring and said, man, I sure would like to see him in a Padres uniform on opening day? Maybe a right fielder, for now until Fernando comes back. But in your opinion, who are the guys that you looked at and said, man, those guys they've earned it and feel like natural fits here?
Yeah, I think, in the outfield, Zokar and Dahl both had really nice springs, and it's, pretty easy to imagine them being a part of it. They both did everything you could ever ask them to do, really. I mean, they both really can go and get it. They're both, wildly athletic, and they both did a really nice job at the plate this spring. The guy who I had my opinion, I don't want to say changed on, but the guy who just kind of came in as something of a probably not guy and is leaving camp as a probably guy for me is Rougned Odor. I think he is maybe of that group of people who you didn't know if they were going to be on the roster or not, maybe the most interesting one to me, just because, first of all, he's still only 29 years old. This guy feels like he's been around forever. It was similar to Profar when he came in. It was like, oh, he's been in the league for 45 years, but he's only 28.
Yeah.
And so Odor comes in and you're like, all right, they're giving him an opportunity to showcase himself. First of all, he plays like a beautiful second base defensively. It's like, oh yeah, that is a second baseman, capital S, capital B. Watching him take ground balls, turn double plays, all that kind of stuff was like really enjoyable to me, particularly in this no shift era. When you're seeing the athleticism of those infielders on display a little bit more. So that was fun. And then all of a sudden they start experimenting with him in the outfield, and all of a sudden he's not swinging and missing the way that he had, at other points in his career, and he's taking more walks. And you go, huh? Rougned Odor. And I was just really impressed by him. I enjoyed watching him tremendously this spring. And I'm kind of fascinated if he is around, the way the Padres try and work him into the mix in some way. The cool thing is, whether we're talking about a Zokar, Dahl, any of these guys, Bob Melvin is a master at, trying to keep his bench fresh and keep his bench engaged. He's told the story many times about, being a bench player himself, and kind of appreciating, especially Buck Showalter, when he was with the Yankees for that 1 year, communicating to him, setting him up for success, putting him in the positions he could be in to be successful. And I think Bob really tries to apply that to his bench guys. So, you're probably not going to come up here and rot away. And Bob went out of his way to point out the other day that, the 4-game series against Colorado, it's going to be 2 righties and 2 lefties. So he's going to be able to mix and match a little bit, again, particularly in these pre-Fernando times. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys in the mix, and we're probably going to see most of them, at some point in this opening weekend.
So Woods learned early on in our first of the 5 years that when the Masters comes on in early April, I can be easily distracted on that Thursday and Friday morning when coverage is on from Augusta National. Now, normally there's not a lot of sports going on during our show, but that's one of the exceptions. So I wanted to ask you about Sunday.
Oh, yes.
When your partner, Tony Gwynn Jr., was trying to work with you and call a baseball game while his Aztecs were trying to secure a spot in the Final Four at the same time. And then to follow up, the chance that your Miami Hurricanes could be their opponent in the championship game on Monday night while you're both calling a Padres game against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
It's unbelievable. First of all, congratulations to the Aztecs. It's really cool, and the Canes. But, I want to talk about the Aztecs because, I started going to those games when I first moved here 9 years ago now, and it's a great time. It is a great time. So I very immediately developed my buddy, Mike Grace. He took me to a game, I think my first winter here. And I was like, this is great. They're such a fun team to watch. They're so competitive. They're so well coached. They play good basketball, obviously the defense and everything like that. So I almost immediately developed a soft spot for the Aztecs, right? And then, it was sort of this, San Diego sports story of like, they can't get over the hump. They're getting knocked out in the first round by a team they shouldn't get knocked out by, or they get to the Sweet 16 and that's it. And so to see them get over this hump is like really, really satisfying as a fan. And I'm sure everybody, who cares about the Aztecs feels the very same way. It to me always felt like this had to happen at some point. Like they had to break through. They were too good. They just needed, like the cards to fall right for them. And it's finally happened. Miami, on the other hand, like I went there. I loved the school. It was the best time of my life and all that kind of stuff. But like the basketball team, it was always like, last year they made this sort of like unbelievable run to the Elite Eight. And you were like, well, that was pretty cool, but it's also the ceiling. And so for them to get beyond that is really unimaginable for me. It's not like San Diego State where like they're really good every year. Miami, they're a solid program. Don't get me wrong. And that coach has done an incredible job, but like you never dreamed, I didn't at least, of Final Four. So yeah, you go to Sunday. Tony's going crazy watching the Aztecs. They win the game. You know, we're both all excited. Then the Miami game starts. We stayed in the booth afterwards to watch the last, I don't know, 7-8 minutes of the Miami game, like in an empty Peoria Stadium. And it was surreal. We were both on cloud nine, so fired up and excited about it. And yes, we've been talking about the possibility, although I don't like the UConn matchup for Miami. We've been talking about the possibility of, Monday night against the Diamondbacks. What basically the game, the basketball game would start a half hour before the Padre game, and just how absurd that would be and how locked in we would be. And yeah, it's fun. It's really, really fun. It's cool. It's great for San Diego. I'm fired up. And yeah, I don't think any of us had this in our bracket.
Did he have a phone on? Like, was he watching the game during your call?
We had it on Sunday. We had the iPad going.
The iPad
we had we had the basketball on the iPad, kind of between the two of us. Again, pitch clock, a lot harder to pay attention to other stuff now than it used to be. I mean, it used to be you could watch 3 minutes of a basketball game before there was like a ball in play. That's not the case anymore. But we make it work. We're pros. We more often than probably the average listener realizes, we are paying attention to other things at times. So we know how to make that.
And then I saw how fans were yelling down to Ty France, who was playing first base, the SDSU alum. Hey, your team is in the Final Four, and he was
in the fist.
He gave it. Yeah, he was excited about that to learn on the field.
The best was his manager, Scott Service, went to Creighton, so I mean he was able to really enjoy that.
He's like, all right, you're hitting 8 from now on, buddy. No,
you're playing all 9 innings tomorrow.
Yeah, you're playing all 9 tomorrow. And all 9 positions. Jesse, we love you. We appreciate you. So looking forward to this season. I know, everyone's just a bundle of nerves right now. And I know that that Thursday is something that we're all waiting for, but nothing bigger than getting a chance to call what should be a pretty amazing season. So we're excited you're going to be part of the ride with us again, and you're family to us. So we appreciate everything you've done for us in these 5 years that we've gotten to know you, brother. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.
There he is, the voice of the Padres, getting ready for another season here on 97.3 The Fan. Jesse Agler on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Cool thing about Jesse is that you can talk baseball with him, obviously, ad nauseum. You can talk. The only thing he's not schooled in is music. And so he'll ask me a music question from time to time. He'll talk to you about socio-political environments in Miami. I mean, I was asking him questions and he was like, well, see, actually what had happened was, and I'm just sitting there when we went to PF Chang's for dinner that time, and he can just school you on a knowledge with his knowledge of everything. So he really is the everyman.
And what a crazy scenario that would be if San Diego State is playing on Monday night and Padre playing the same time. 5 of the season, get it? And Aztecs in the championship is going to happen, maybe once in a lifetime sort of day.
I mean, you just never know.
Gotta have to figure out a way to watch both at the same time. Obviously, this is too big for us to ignore. We've got 1 hour. We'll talk more Final Four with Tim Shelton, Aztec for life, former SDSU standout player, one of our favorites from the previous years. Going to join us at 9:35. Paulie's got some more headlines in the Rindle Report. The anniversary show continues here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, Ben and Woodsy, I've been informed by a reliable source that you are celebrating your 5th anniversary on air on Monday. Congratulations. Just want you to know that I took the over on the 5 years, so I'm looking to find a couple people to collect money from. Seriously, you guys have done a great job. I'm glad to be able to call you friends and look forward to more time on 97.3. Take care. Best of luck, Ron. Take care.
Oh, my beloved Ron Fowler. Oh, that man. Such a debt of gratitude for going to bat for this show. Honestly, man, when the old station folded and we needed a job, Ron made sure that we got a job. Period.
Sometimes you need a person in a high place who believes in you.
Absolutely.
And that was Ron Fowler for us. Never our direct boss.
No.
But certainly had some influence in town and made it known that he was a fan of the Ben and Woods program. And I think it helped grease some wheels, to be sure, to get us over here to 97.3 The Fan. And we appreciate it to this very day.
Owe him everything, man. I will always love Ron
and
his wife, Alexis.
And
Just
certainly
amazing
part of this turnaround of the San Diego Padres organization. Not going to forget the role that Ron Fowler played and Peter Seidler has picked up and charged forward at warp speed after getting things started with Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. And here we are, just seeing its tweets during the break. MLB.com's experts predicting their playoff participants and World Series winner. And like I said, I don't think I've ever seen in my life anyone predict the Padres to win a World Series. And there it is in black and white.
I don't want to look.
Padres, they say Padres over the Astros is their World Series pick in 2023. It's stunning. It's stunning that we're at this point that not only are the Padres you just wanted to be a contender, like a legit, you don't laugh on opening day when you say, hey, our dream is to win the World Series. And you go, yeah, right. You'll be lucky to finish 500. It's not a contender. They're now considered a favorite to win the World Series. And that doesn't guarantee you one win in the regular season, being the favorite to win the World Series. But tell you what, it's a lot better than being picked to finish 70 and 92 and finish 4th in the National League West. Feels good.
Feels great. But yeah, it's promised to nobody.
Nope.
Everyone's gunning for you now too. So
yeah, we know the feeling. 5 years in, everyone's gunning for you.
So true. More true than you know.
All right, we've got Tim Shelton joining us at the bottom of the hour, but right now, Paulie's got a few other headlines on our anniversary show. It is time for the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Paulie.
It's the Reindl Report brought to you by the San Diego Sockers. The Lords of Indoor are on the march to the Ron Newman Cup playoffs. Get your tickets today at sdsockers.com. We will start off in the NBA. Saw a clip of a podcast going around yesterday, and it intrigued me because Ty Lue, coach of the Clippers, he sat down and with the Pivot podcast, and he was on with them for an hour talking about his career. I mean, he was he had Allen Iverson step over him in that playoff game. That was a huge moment. He won as coach of the Cavaliers with LeBron. He's played with all these legends. From what I listened to, it was actually a pretty good podcast, but there was a point where he talks about respecting the game. You hear that a lot from athletes, right? Respect the game. You're never bigger than the game.
Bigger than the game.
And I can get on board with that. But unfortunately, Ty Lue has lost 7 family members over the last couple of months, back in December. And the team was on a losing streak, and he explains why he couldn't go to any of their funerals because he's built different. I thought this was interesting.
And so my thing is like just giving the game back what the game was giving you. And so respect for the game. Put your work in every single day. Don't cheat the game. Don't cheat the process. And things will work out. And the last thing is just being a good person. It don't hurt to be a good person. You know, no matter how many tough days you have. We all have bad days, but you can always be a good person. And so sometimes it could be to a fault. You know, since December, I lost 7 family members, you know, from Mexico. But we lost 6 games in a row. So I can't leave my team behind. Like, and I know I should be there for my family. And it's been a tough time because my family wanted me there. And we're going through some tough times right now. But people don't even know this. But like 7 family members since December. And I ain't go to one funeral because we lost 5 games in a row. Like, and so like, well, I can take the easy way out and say, I'm gonna go home for a week or I'm gonna go. But I just felt like I couldn't do that. And sometimes you can get a game too much. You know, sometimes you can get a game too much where like family and stuff, like real life stuff matters. It's important. But I was just built different. Like if we had won 5 in a row, hell yeah, I went home for 3 of the funerals, 3 or 4 of them, you know. But when you're going through tough times, people want to see how you react and kind of look at, are you trying to take the easy way out or are you trying to, you know, do something different? So, you know, it's just decisions you have to make.
Yeah.
Not sure that's the
I think the game would have understood
accomplishment that he seems to think it is of missing funerals to coach a team that's in a losing streak. I get wanting to be there for your players. That's always important when you're a coach, but they'd understand.
I also get wanting to be there for your family as well. That's another thing that, I mean,
now if he said he was going to go on 3rd vacation, but we were on a losing streak, so he decided not to. I get that. Well, I can leave you. We're doing just fine. So that's the time where you can go and take a few days off.
I mean, like until when Bo is a senior in high school, I'm still going to be leaving the show 2 hours early to go and see him off to school. I'm not missing a day. No matter what, I missed the Clevenger deal his first day of preschool.
You may have to watch from a distance once he gets to high school. I don't think
I'll embarrass him to death. He has no idea. I'm walking his ass to his first class.
Oh, that's I look forward to seeing how that goes.
But yeah,
for
like
you.
there's certain things that I'm not flexible on. And really, if one of my family members passed away, guys, I love you and I hope the pods play well in my absence, but I'm gonna go and I would expect the same for you. I would freaking Ben, he's off to another funeral. I mean, 7's a lot. That's a lot of funerals. I feel really terrible for him, but it's not a big that I've kind of gotten even though I've gotten my head out of that, no, I'm going to just grind through it mentality. Like life's short enough. It's hard enough. Like, I don't know, man. He's not bragging about it necessarily, but it feels weird.
If you're really doing a great job as coach, your team should be able to survive your absence for a game. You know, your job as a coach is not every second telling your players what to do and being there to make sure they don't make a mistake. It's preparing them to have success on their own. You should be preparing your assistant coaches that, hey, if I get thrown out of a game, no problem. You're going to step in. You know exactly what's going on. We're well prepared for this. You shouldn't need me there at every moment. And if we're losing, hey, maybe switch things up and take a day off for a funeral as well. Oh, that they'd win, and then he'd feel like he couldn't come back.
Yeah, dude. It's the old, taking vacation in radio is tough. We took 2 weeks off at the end of the year. I was crawling out of my skin because somebody goes, they're not on again. We try these guys. They're like, I like what these guys. It's a nightmare. You never want to take a day off unless you're Ben.
Yeah. Or several days off if you're Ben.
Dozens.
All right. I feel like I've prepared you too well to be successful in my absence, so I can calmly
Ben's just built
take some
different.
days off.
You're built different.
Put in the work. Enjoy the rewards.
All right. Fun news announced yesterday here locally that Manchester United is going to return to the United States. They're going to play a game right here in San Diego, at Snapdragon Stadium on Tuesday, July 25th at 7:30 p.m. And they're playing Wrexham AFC. And when I first saw that, I'm not the biggest follower of the global sport. I've heard some of the clubs. I know some of the players. That's about it. And I go, Wrexham FC. Oh, yes. That's the team that Ryan Reynolds owns. They're the 3rd oldest club in the world. So Manchester United, probably the most popular club globally, I would say. And that's a huge get here in San Diego. So July 25th, Tuesday, Wrexham AFC and Manchester United.
Yeah, did you see who was the master of ceremonies for the big news conference yesterday?
The guy from Crossing Streams.
It was Craig Elston. He had some legends there. Rob McElhaney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, as he was the part owner, was representing. But they did have a video of him and Ryan Reynolds. It was actually kind of funny. So they were supposed to be announcing the match with Sir Alex Ferguson, who's the legendary crusty old coach from Manchester United, retired, but legendary for his being the kind of an intimidating soccer fellow. And Ryan Reynolds plays it up that he's so nervous that Alex Ferguson is going to be intimidating, and they get on this Zoom call with him, and he's just silently staring at them as he and Rob are talking. And hey, dude, what are you excited? Nothing. And at the end, the secretary comes in for Alex Ferguson and says, How did the Zoom go? They were on mute. I couldn't hear a thing the entire time. There was a good little bit that they did.
I literally say this once a week on this show. You know how Paul Ben asks me on Thursdays if I have pulled that demon out of him? I say on this show once a week, I really want to watch that Wrexham show, and I never get around to doing it.
They're filming season 2, so it should be coming out soon. Season 1 still streaming on Hulu. FX show, so you can still go back and catch up before season 2 of Welcome to Wrexham.
So this is a what they call in the biz a friendly.
It is
just a friendly.
They're not in the same league, so
Right.
there wouldn't be any standings implications to this game.
That's weird to me. And they'll play full.
This would be
out,
like a low single A team playing like the Padres or the Yankees or
because
something.
they had the for the WBC they had teams playing the WBC teams. They had the Czech Republic team playing the Phillies or whatever, and actually one of those teams won against a major league ball club, which was pretty interesting.
Wrexham's like 5th division, though,
Yeah.
so they're trying to move up
How
the
many
ladder.
divisions are there?
I think in English Premier League, like below that, I think there's like 9 or 10. You get down to the bottom, it's basically like community, guys.
adult
They're not
league.
even professional players. Yeah, it's like adult league at the bottom, but you keep winning, your adult league team could eventually move up. It's like your baseball team could eventually get to the big leagues if they kept winning league championships every year.
We won a bunch, and no one ever asked us to join the big league.
You get to like the minor, you get to the low minors, and then you get to AA, AAA, and eventually
I don't want
your
this.
San Diego A's would be in Major League Baseball. All of a sudden,
this.
all of a sudden you're playing the Colorado Rockies on opening day.
I don't want this, man. What happened? I don't want this. So good. No, that'll be cool. When is it happening?
July 25th, 7:30. Tickets go on sale tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. starting at $45. Although I've heard there's a pre-sale for like Man U fans, and like 95% of the tickets are already gone. So you might want to figure it out if you want to go see Wrexham against Man U at Snapdragon Stadium this July.
That'll be cool. And then finally got just an update on how things are going with Twitter. We've kind of been talking about it over the last few months. Elon Musk purchased Twitter. There's been a lot of changes already. And Elon Musk tweeted yesterday that starting April 15th, only verified accounts will be eligible in For You recommendations. So if you open up Twitter, there's For You, and then that can include people that you actually don't follow, but the algorithm thinks you should see. And then on the right column is only tweets from people that you do follow. So that left column will only be people that have paid for Twitter Blue. That's what he means by verification. And then he says the voting in polls will require verification because it's like combat bots voting in polls. I was curious what you guys thought. We've used Twitter polls.
Yeah, the Tournament of Drops
quite a
will
bit.
look very different if only blue check marks can vote.
Yeah.
So we're gonna lose ours April 15th, I believe.
That's true. I don't pay for it either.
I don't pay for it either. I paid for the Twitter Blue when it first started before he took over. I paid it was $2.99 a month, and we all
It's
laughed about it.
$11 now a month.
So it was $2.99 a month. I already had the check mark verified. I didn't pay for my check mark. I had paid for that because it allowed me to. What was the big feature for me?
Editing your tweets.
Edit, but I don't think I could edit. Could I?
No.
Yeah, we did it on the air.
I edited something.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. And I was like, that's $3 a month, no problem to edit. If he wanted to be smart, he could charge $9.99 a month to edit tweets. I'd pay that.
Right.
I'd pay that in a second. But I don't understand trust me. When I lose my check mark, I'm not going to be. In fact, I'll be happy because how many people have said you're verified and you talk this way? I'm fine. I'm not verified. I'll talk any way I want now.
And the For You tab, I try to actively avoid that anyway. I get mad when I'm accidentally on it. And I go, why are my tweets not in order anymore? What's going on?
It's really weird. They're not showing. They're just showing a comment. It'll say at Ben and Woods. I know, right? And then you have to click on it to see what they're responding to. When before, I mean, it's a dumpster fire right now.
Really
I love Twitter. I'm addicted. I'm full on addicted to Twitter. I love it. I can't live without it. Where are we going to go? Because I'm not paying. And it's seemingly only getting worse.
It seems like with every move he announces, whether it's in effect or not yet, people are like ready to jump
There's
ship.
blowback.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I think it's probably time to start thinking
It's
about
just
the next
that there's no
YouTube chat.
easy alternative right now.
It's just if
you
you're in
want
sports-
everyone to be there. If we could all
Yeah.
just jump on mass somewhere else, that'd
Today.
be fine.
Yeah.
But some people will go one place, then some people will go another, and it won't be the same. You want that entire community to travel with you.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough and then you have to, I love it for sports news, music news, funny stuff. Right. And like, obviously in the case of yesterday, breaking news story, little kids being shot in school again. I don't love seeing that, but that's where I get the majority of my news is through Twitter. I don't
Following the right accounts.
Yeah, I don't really sit and go, all right, it's time to put on Ben Higgins on the news. No offense. I love you. Very great at what you do. But I don't get my sports from you. I get my sports here on Twitter. And I don't want to pay $12. I pay for so much stuff already. I don't want to pay $12. And again, if you're not verified, you can't vote on, who has better hair, Ben or Woods. And, that's, come on.
Really? You better hair.
Dude, come on.
I mean,
you want to get in this arena with me right now?
You put a lot of work into your hair.
I do not.
Mine, I barely have to do anything.
I pay more than $9 for a haircut, if
Right.
that's what you mean.
Mine looks good with cheap haircuts and almost no product and work in the morning. I just roll over out of bed with great hair.
Not the flex that you
You're
think it
constantly primping and preening and producting.
Oh my!
What are you talking about? Hair? Here, hey, Paulie, put up a poll.
Who has better hair?
Who has better hair, Ben or Woods? Just don't put that horrible picture of me with bad hair that I hate that we'd never take down.
Let's get as many polls
I
as
don't
we
color.
can in.
We already know you use Just for Men.
Just on my mustache.
No, really, just on your mustache, huh?
Just on my stash.
Fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything else is great.
All right, we've got a little time for more recollection and reflection on 5 years of great moments. I mean, we got to bring back one of the all-time best moments in Ben and Woods history, don't we?
I got a good story too.
Okay, we'll get to that, and then Tim Shelton, Aztec for life, getting ready for the Final Four. He's got to be so proud of his alma mater at the bottom of the hour.
Do you have to temper your enthusiasm at
When
all?
you
The fact that you're a assistant
work
coach
somewhere
for another
else,
team,
maybe. Although
little
they had a
bit.
good season
They
at
did.
Oregon State, so he's got to be proud too. That is all coming up. Let's check traffic right now. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods, could it be 5 years? Yes, 5 years. It is, and I congratulate you enthusiastically. It's Major Colin from DC. Look, I was checking out what were the popular movies in 2018 when all this began? Well, one of them was A Star is Born, which is kind of fitting. Of course, in your case, it would be Two Stars is Women, not Two Stars is. Two Stars Are Born. Not nearly as catchy, but true nonetheless. Another big movie, 2018, Mission Impossible Fallout. Well, looking at the Padre roster of 2018, the Mission Impossible part certainly fits. Clayton Richard, Adam Simber, and Chase Headley Lamar. Those listening, Headley Lamar, that's a Blazing Saddles reference. Look it up if you don't get it. In any event, it's been a blast to spend time with you. I do consider myself the unofficial consigliere of the Washington, D.C. Padres fan club. You often include me for either wry observations on the news or salty observations on the Padres or celebratory observations about the club now most definitely worth celebrating. The club is better and San Diego is better, not all because of you, but in no small part because of Ben and Woods. And let's not forget Paul. Congratulations, my brothers. Well done.
What a legend. The great Major Garrett on Ben and Woods this morning.
Two stars are born.
Two stars is born. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Speaking of Mission Impossible, this is the story that I wanted to share. I think, Paul, you may know this story. I don't know if Ben does, but when I knew it was, obviously we're trying to do things a little differently when we started. So we're probably about a year in, and I got this phone call that really kind of upset me a little bit and changed my, it made me question, what we were doing. And I got a phone call from a guy that was a friend, and I respected his opinion, certainly. And he had called, and he just kind of flippantly said, oh, yeah, I was driving to Vegas with a couple of guys that we know, a couple of guys we worked with in the past. He said, yeah, we listened to your show, and we just were like, it was terrible. And it hurt. It hurt to hear. Like you listen, you're like, oh, I like my friends to lie to me. Right? I do. I
do remember this.
The brutal truth. And what they didn't like was that we were like fans a little bit, instead of coming on and saying, last night in the NBA, the Lakers over the Timberwolves, like that's what everyone had been used to. And
we played the Manny Machado reaction clip in our 7:00 hour.
Yeah.
That ruffled a lot of feathers.
In the
local
building,
media
the building and the local media. And then
us reacting like fans.
Bro, I remember where I was. I was outside of the dry cleaner on Loma Santa Fe, right next to Jersey Mike's, when I was taking this call, and almost kind of arguing my case a little bit. And it really hurt. It really did. And it made me question, the direction, and am I screwing this up? We were only about a year in, I think. And not even, maybe really 6 months in. And it really messed with me. Now, fast forward to about 2 years later, I got another phone call from the same guy. And he said, hey, I just want to apologize for that phone call 2 years ago. I couldn't have been more wrong. What you guys have done is incredible. And it was then when I got that phone call, the very first one that day, I thought to myself, man, as long as the listeners are happy, that's all I care about. I used to be a long time, morning host and in the media here. I used to be really worried about what, the other guys that were in my business thought about me. I really did. I was like overly concerned. I wanted everybody to like me. And then you start to get to know them a little bit better, and you're like, yeah, you don't have my best interests at heart. You don't. You can say you're pulling for me, but we all know that's not the case. And then you think to yourself, they're not what matters. What matters is the listeners. And if the listeners are laughing and having fun in the morning, once I made up my mind for that and stopped caring about what my colleagues thought and started focusing my direction and attention on the listeners, everything changed.
By the way, that's not exclusive to radio. That's something I think most people can take in their own lives and sit back and think about who is really important in your life. Who do you want to earn the respect of? And everyone else, that's just noise that doesn't really matter. You don't need to give it a lot of thought or pay attention to it. Only the people who really matter, those are the ones that you should be caring about. And for us, it's an audience, but for you, it may be, if you're a teacher, it may be your students. It doesn't matter what your fellow teachers think. What are your students think?
Yeah, are you getting through?
What are their parents? Are they happy with how you're doing as a teacher? Not what the other teachers think. Oh, I don't think your methods, or I don't necessarily approve with those. Well, what do the students say? Are they learning? Are they growing the way they should? That's what really matters in life.
Yeah, it changed everything. It really did. And but no, just a little, it's hard. It hurt to hear, and it was hard to hear, but it really opened my eyes to what was really important.
Everybody likes some praise from their peers. It feels good, but ultimately you can have all the praise of fellow members of the media that you want. It's not going to make you a success. Only the audience can do that.
That's the only thing.
Only the tier ones in our case can make this show successful. We can have, Chris Ello saying, God, you guys do a phenomenal job every single day. Won't matter in the least bit if the listeners don't respond and care.
Yep.
Good story, Woods.
Thanks. That's all I'm going to say about it.
It's time to get to the bottom of the hour. We have another voicemail in there, Paul. I know you got a bunch of them.
I got 2 more we'll play today. We'll save one for coming back from the next segment. How about this one? This is from somebody who it's funny how the relationship started, but man, am I happy that we got on board with this individual. They've been so good to our show. They get what we're trying to do, and I wish nothing but the best from one Brian O'Grady.
Yes,
top of the morning to you. This is Brian Patrick O'Grady. I'm calling all the way from Dublin. You guys are worth the long distance charge I'm going to get from this. I just want to say congrats on 5 years. Ben and Woodsy, man, that's awesome. This relationship was not something I never expected, but I'm absolutely grateful for. You guys are the best. Just want to say congrats and continued success, and can't wait to celebrate the 10th year.
Is that Dublin, a little-known city in Korea?
It's in Korea.
He's
Dublin, Korea.
Calling from this morning. Thank you, BOG. Definitely, he has been one of my favorite characters of the last 5 years, getting to know him. And just, the anticipation for his first appearance on Ben and Woods.
It's just incredible.
Was through the roof. Through the roof. All right, I'm anticipating Tim Shelton. Haven't talked to him in years. Was one of my favorite Aztecs of all time. His alma mater is going to the Final Four. Catch up with Tim coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hi, this is Amy Trask. Congratulations on 5 magnificent years. I look forward to many more magnificent years to come. Your show has a special place in my heart, but we are not going to broadcast that. We're just going to keep that our little secret. Congratulations again, and hi again.
The sweetest angel, Amy Trask.
Might need to get Amy on soon to talk about this Lamar Jackson trade drama, but not today and not tomorrow and not this week.
Probably like November.
There could be a time that we can talk about this with
How about
Amy.
the All-Star break?
There you go. There you go.
This guy over here, man, has no idea.
Did you think that you would be talking college basketball this week on opening week?
Yes.
Not really, though.
Well, after the last week's game,
like had Creighton won and the Final Four was Creighton, Florida Atlantic,
we would not
Miami and UConn, you would have forgotten college basketball existed by now.
We would have talked about it Monday and how disappointed we were in the loss, and then that would have been it.
And that's it. It's over. But instead,
if you had even mentioned the Final Four beyond yesterday, I would have kicked you in your
instead, everybody in town is fired up, and we're going to talk with Aztec for Life. Tim Shelton, right after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Things are starting to wind down pretty nicely around the county. We do have this crash in the East County, though, eastbound side of the 8, right before Johnson Avenue. Looks like that has been moved over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Tannick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We the new team, y'all don't get it, do ya? New squad, new year, but the same ego. New ring, new bling, check stilo. And they wanna see the show like a movie Regal. Unfair, cheat code. We go hard.
It's been a long time since I've heard Aztec motto.
Bro, that's unreal.
It's so good. In fact, January 2012, ESPN writes, usually bars and verses best left to the guys who spend all their time thinking of bars and verses, and shots and assists best left to the guys who spend all their time shooting and practicing the game of basketball. But we may now have a new college hoops king sitting atop the throne. Why? Because Tim Shelton's Aztec motto, featuring a beat from Drake's Take Care and copious involvement from SDSU's student section of the show, is legitimately, unironically,
banger.
Good. It is.
He had Game Time Ready. That was the Aztec motto. He had Montezuma 55th. Like that was Tim's thing.
I mean, win.
I was part of the show.
We can't get one decent Padres.
No, we need to hire Tim maybe to
route.
write one. Win. Cut down nets. That's all the Aztecs have been doing the last couple of weeks. They've done it 4 times this month alone. And joining us right now on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline, he's Aztec for life. He's now an assistant coach at Oregon State. Tim Shelton is with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Tim, it's great to talk to you again. It's been way too long. How you doing, man?
Oh man, it's great to talk to you guys too. I'm doing great. Everyone's doing great right now. If it involves San Diego State, come on now.
Now, Tim, do you have to dial back your enthusiasm because
temper it down a little bit?
You guys had a good season though.
Yeah, great season. That being said, when the team that you coach is out and the team that you played for is in, do you have to dial it back a little bit, or can you be yourself and pound your chest a little bit?
I've never really pounded my chest too much, regardless, but I can be myself. It's hard for me to change anyway. It's funny, I'm coaching. I'm a Beaver right now, but I'm an Aztec for life. So it's like you can do both, But if you're genuine about it, you can do both, and I'm genuine about it. I'm genuinely excited. I was watching the game by myself, watching that last game, and I was jumping up and down and clapping and cheering, and I hardly get to do that, as a fan or as someone who gets to cheer for someone else. So, very, very good moment, very, very cherishing and memorable moment, and the excitement that you get being a former player, being a former coach, just being involved with that Aztec family. I was talking to Xavier Thames about this yesterday. And it's more of like a religion, it feels like, because, the faith that we all had and have, in the program and what we worked on every single day, is faith with works is how that program feels. So when you see something come to fruition that involves so much belief, which is one of the mantras I believe, but it's more like faith, like that we had in Fish, that we have in Dutch, and what they did to establish it and build it and continue to do things the right way in terms of culture and how they develop young men. It's like, that's why you get so excited, even if you're not directly involved right now.
You know, Tim, college basketball is funny. Obviously, a decade ago, your team with Kawhi and they were good enough to make a Final Four, absolutely. But the breaks didn't go their way. A couple of years ago, the Aztecs go 30-2, good enough to go to the Final Four, win a championship. The pandemic hits. It requires a bit of luck as well as skill to get to this stage of the college basketball season.
That's why it's the best tournament ever. That's why it's the best tournament. That's why it's the NCAA tournament, because anything can happen. Those numbers, those seedings next to the school name, it doesn't mean much. You know, it might add a little bit of extra drama or clickbait to some of the social aspects that go on, but you have to go play. And all the teams that are involved are championship caliber teams, and you have to go perform. You know, guys have to embrace the moment. You really see what team chemistry certain groups have. You really see what sort of mental toughness and resilience certain groups have. You see the talent that some groups have. You see the coaching that some staff can do. You know, and it all comes together the right way to make a Final Four. You do have to get a little lucky, but when you're in this business and you're in it every single day, you see a little bit deeper into some of the aspects that allow you that chance. You know, the guys still have to go play and perform, and it's about the players. But there's a lot more to it that involves getting there than luck.
Talking to Tim Shelton here on Ben and Woods this morning, and I wonder, you know, we all take lessons, whether it's from our parents, whether it's from a teacher, a coach, and, you know, you've been fortunate enough to land a really good gig in college athletics and to be able to pass your knowledge onto young men as well. How much of Dutcher do you have in you? How much of Coach Fisher do you have in you, and try to pass that on?
Oh, a whole lot. And, you know, when I got this job, one of the first calls to Coach Tinkle was from Coach Fisher, you know, and he was like, "You got my guy. You got to take care of him. He's
really good.
He's from our tree," you know, and he spoke really so highly of me, you know, and I didn't know if Coach knew I was listening or not, but, you know, he spoke so highly of me, and it was the same voice and conversation, and it was the same remnants of when I was being recruited by him back at San Diego State when I was in high school. You know, the same characteristics that he recognized about me as a young man that he wanted in his program, he was trying to relay that message and tell some of that story to Coach Tinkle and say, this is the type of person you're getting. And these are the type of young men we want to develop in our program. So, you know, great opportunity. You know, again, it started there, you know, and Coach Hudson and Coach Dutcher, like they were more than father figures, more than mentors for me, obviously, because they also gave me an opportunity. You know, after all that playing for them, they gave me a job. And I wear that with a lot of pride, and I'm under their tree, and I'm looking forward to continuing the same type of development that they've given me for young men that I get the opportunity to coach.
You may not be aware, but Coach Fisher does listen to this show every day.
Does.
So you might
Good
be
chance
getting
he's listening right now.
You might be getting a text or a phone call on that one, Tim.
He's like, oh, let's hear that again, Tim.
Tim Shelton is
he
with
nailed
us.
that, by the way.
All right, so you've watched the Aztecs play, and I see a lot of Tim Shelton in Aguek Arop, right down to the diving on the floors, right down to the nagging injuries, you know, that nearly kept you off the court many, many times. How important, especially in college basketball, and especially this time of year in March, Tim, is a player like a Aguek Arop or a Tim Shelton to have on the floor?
Invaluable, you know. I'm not trying to pat my own back or anything like that, but when I watch him, I do think the same thing sometimes. And, you know, he's a quiet leader in terms of he's not the most vocal, but his presence is always felt, you know, and he's a guy who's battled through injuries, who was highly touted out of high school, who had more of a skill set than he's even shown in college. And those guys, you know, their value, you root for those guys. You root for those guys to make a Final Four. You root for those guys to make the big basket. You root for those guys to come in and change the game in whatever way they can. And, you know, I've coached against him as well. You know, at Fresno State, we've competed against him. He's the ultimate competitor. And for him to continue to pursue winning and pursue being the type of teammate he has been is a credit to that staff and that culture. You know, it's those guys and myself. I wouldn't have had that type of motivation to continue to go after dealing with the injuries I dealt with if it weren't for the people around me. You know, if I wasn't still made to feel valued and good, you know, about my work every single day, even though my aspirations were a lot higher maybe years before a couple of nicks and bruises, before a couple setbacks. So, you know, it's a credit to him mentally and the type of character that he has, but obviously it's such a credit to that entire group, you know, to keep that level of encouragement, to keep that culture going the right way, you know, to keep him in a certain mindset to say, we value who you are and what you do, and for him to go perform at the level he's performed.
You know, Tim, it's funny. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Obviously, great praise across the nation for the Aztecs and what they've been able to do defensively. And we kind of had this debate. It wasn't really a debate because we both agreed. Watching really great defense can be really fun, especially if it's your team that's playing the great defense, the smothering defense that the Aztecs play. Give us just a little bit of insight on how that's drilled into you guys from day one. When you get there, you're like, we're going to work. Like, that's work. Working on shooting is fun and passing is fun. Defense is work.
Your head coach has to care about it, like, and really care about it. Defense is an everyday thing. It is a mentality. It is an ability. You know, there's certain guys that have more defensive talent than others, but your head coach has to really care and want to care about the discipline of that. And that's not just on the floor. That's film. That's getting extra work before and after. There's a lot of teaching involved. There's a lot of intensity that's involved. There's a lot of discipline that's involved. There's a lot of buy-in that's involved. And it's a group thing. And when the guys can take it and it's player driven, you have something special. You know, Coach Fish was big on defense. Coach Dutch is big on defense. And those guys are so comfortable in their own skin. You know, they delegate and they allow assistants to do that and lead that. And, you know, Hutt got a lot of credit for that early on. And Dave Velasquez has done a tremendous job, you know, leading the charge on the defensive end with the intensity and his focus and his wanting to learn and get better and how they do things schematically, but the level of accountability, you know, that group has for themselves, but the way that the staff leads it. And again, Dave doesn't get enough credit, you know, for what he's helped to do in growing that defense even more. But it's a head coach thing, and it trickles down, you know, with the delegation after that.
Well, and it's got to be a certain type of player too, because there are certainly basketball players of all walks of life that say, I don't want to do, like, I want to shoot. I want to score 30 a night, and I want to, you know, look good doing it.
Defense practice is not fun.
Practicing.
Get the butt down.
Yeah, practicing defense.
Hand up, hand in the face.
It just can't be fun, and that's why I think it makes it in my mind. And I don't know much about it, but in my mind it makes it harder to recruit. You know, because everybody wants everyone wants to make a lot of money, and everyone wants to know their name and score a lot of points. It's a different mentality and a different type of student athlete that Coach Dutcher and his team have to go out and find.
It actually makes it easier to recruit.
There you go.
Because, you know, the beautiful thing about this business and recruiting and coaching is that a lot can be figured out with conversation. You know, people can tell you what they want to tell you or what they feel like you want to know in a short amount of time to get you to buy into what they're selling. But at the end of the day, it's like if I'm very honest with you about who I am and who we are and what our expectations are and what we believe in, and I continue to relay that message, and then I give you more proof with film, I give you more proof with our national ranking and defensive stats, I give you more proof when you talk to some of our guys and they tell you how challenging it is every day. That when you get here, don't be surprised.
Yeah, it's a
like,
good point.
Because I'm not gonna change up. So you signed up for this knowing full and well what this was going to be about. If it's all of a sudden a surprise to you, then maybe this isn't the place for you, and you chose it for the wrong reason.
It helps weed it out, I guess, from Jump Street.
Last question for me, because when you think about that hard work and you think about some of the successful college basketball coaches in the past, you know, there are some tyrants, you know, who dictators on the college basketball court. There's an expression that nice guys finish last. Why is Brian Dutcher able to do this and still be such an incredibly nice guy, Tim?
Because he's never changed. He's always been about the right things. He's always found a way to eloquently state it as simply as he can, you know, in terms of what it's about. You know, he has a saying that he's like, there are no secret recipes in what we do. It's about putting in the work. And he is an example of that. You know, when your leadership is a prime example of what's written on the walls and what's being said every day, it's easy to get behind. And you also aren't surprised by the amount of success that leadership has. And, you know, Fish was that way, Dutch is that way. You know, they are a living example of what they speak on. They're a living example of what they believe in. And that's why they're easy to rally behind. That's why, you know, you hardly ever, maybe never, will hear somebody speak something ill of them because they don't operate that way. They don't have that type of intent in their life. So for Dutch, he's the easiest guy in the world to root for. But if you know him, you know, you're even more excited because he's so deserving. He's so deserving of all the articles and all the extra attention that he's getting. And even when he gets it, he puts it back toward the people he works with, because he cares that much. He puts it, he gives credit to the players, he gives credit to the staff, he gives credit to the administration, because that's what a great leader does.
Well, Tim, we're really glad we got to catch up with you. Hopefully we'll see the Beavers in this tournament going on a deep run as well soon. And it was great talking to you again, man.
Going to Houston, it's going to be a reunion, it sounds like, this weekend.
I'll be there. I appreciate you guys. Go
amazing.
Let's get one more and go from there.
Nice. Tim Shelton on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. I saw this tweet yesterday from Jordan Shackle.
This was amazing.
Said one thing about the Aztecs defense. It's so hard to score in practice. I had to come home some days and contemplate if I wanted to go back the next day. I know the feeling the guards were feeling yesterday and the whole tourney. It's exhausting playing against them.
Terrible. It's terrible. In practice. He was great. I wonder if he still raps at all.
I don't know. Well, you're pretty busy as a college basketball coach with watching film and hopping on a plane in between practices to do recruiting. There's probably not a lot of time for the rapping at this point in Tim Shelton's career.
Before we get out of here, this hour on 97.3 The Fan brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, home of the world-famous Bob-O-Pedic mattresses with all the comfort and quality of a national mattress brand for half the price. No matter your budget, there's a Bob-O-Pedic Memory Foam Hybrid or Hybrid Plus mattress for you. Check them out at mybobs.com.
That was so much fun. 5-year anniversary. I feel like I could just go on a long vacation, come back for our 10-year anniversary, and celebrate together with you guys. You don't need me that much.
I think you're pretty accurate. No, we need you. We love you. And when's the next vacation?
Not until June. We got long time. Months and months and
I'm
months.
trying to think if I'm going on one before then. I don't think so. I'm ready to kind of grind it out to the
Oh, well,
All-Star
technically,
break.
I think we're all taking the day after the Benowoods Open off to
that's
recover.
right. Sorry.
I don't know if that's a vacation more than a mental health day, but all right, that's it.
That's it. We're done.
Thank you, everybody, all the tier ones
you.
out
Thank
there.
you.
We
Appreciate you.
love you so much. Here's to the next 5 years, bigger and better as we go on. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, for Adam Klug out there. Couldn't do it without him. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your day from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan.